Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a Sustainable Saturday. Hello, I'm David Sponheim, and this is also our anti-war rally. As you know, we are trying to make a pathway for mankind to pursue less violent acts against each other. And one of the secrets to that pathway is the production of fresh water. And I believe fresh water is the key to mankind's future. I know it sounds simplistic at first, but it really is true. They say water is going to be the next oil people will fight over. If we produced an overabundance of fresh water, I guarantee this human race will continue on and have less war. Because water can create food, and food can create prosperity, and prosperity can keep people happy and at peace. It's a very simple relationship, but it's true and it cannot be disputed. The ultra elite want to deny access to water, like the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, who invested in a Sonoma County water rights area district. And we see all kinds of new evaporation techniques being conducted in the air above us, like chemtrails. And there's all kinds of evidence that they're drying out the very same area they're buying the water, Sonoma County. They practically burned it out. There's evidence that directed energy weapons started all those fires. You notice how they never found one single arsonist that caused those fires last year and the year before? Because the government is literally turning a blind eye to this and letting this go on. They're literally destroying parts of our planet, and they're poisoning us in the air above us on a daily basis. Who are these people? I'd love to know. I know who their front men are. The two front men right now that are running their operation would be Putin and Donald, his bitch. Now, if you wonder why I call our president Vladimir Putin's bitch, because of that phone call he made yesterday, in which he talked for an hour with no audio recordings whatsoever, and didn't even mention about election meddling. It's as if the investigation, a 448-page Mueller report, which shows Donald Trump running around the White House insisting that people fire Mueller and stop the Russian investigation the whole time, which to me is obstruction. Intent is obstruction. We are now of the belief that all that information is of no value because Donald doesn't even have to mention it to Putin. So Putin pretty much is in charge of our country right now, and whatever happens as a result of our ineptitude to allow our president to lie, cheat, steal, and do everything he can to maintain his power over our country. Now, he can't not run in 2020, because if he did, New York is going to swoop down on him and charge him with multiple felonies. Yet he says he's done nothing wrong, but he had hired 40 different indictments went down on people that he hired. We know now that his team had contact with Russia 127 times before the election. Tell me that's not collusion. 127 times he was communicating with Russia and sharing information about election stats and all kinds of things. Emails. He even openly solicited Russia's help to get the emails on Hillary Clinton. And then when WikiLeaks Julian Assange was recently finally captured, he didn't even stand up in defense of him. He just says, no, he openly solicited WikiLeaks to grab the emails of Hillary Clinton. And then he doesn't stand behind the freedom of the press. This is unbelievable. That is beyond belief. He doesn't even understand what's happening. They've got him propped up, just smiling. As long as people say, you're great, Donald, you're happy, you're wonderful, Donald, he's okay with that. Meanwhile, our country is slipping into a kind of a void where we don't have a foreign policy. We take our orders from Israel. The Zionists that have nested in Donald Trump's cabinet and his administration are all over the place, just like they were with Hitler and all the Ashkenazis that were around Hitler. Watch this.
Stephen Witkoff, donor, Trump Victory Fund, Ashkenazi Jew. Stephen Wynn, financial vice chairman, Trump Presidential Inaugural Committee, Ashkenazi Jew. Richard Lefrak, donor, Trump Victory Fund, Ashkenazi Jew. Daniel Yergin, member, President Trump's Strategic and Policy Forum, Ashkenazi Jew.
I have a hard time even saying the word Ashkenazi and Jew because I like Jewish people. I do. And I don't hate on Ashkenazis either. The bottom line is Ashkenazis are not Jewish. Their mother's mother is not related to Abraham, so why don't we just drop the BS? The Ashkenazis are the Nazis, and they were the ones that destroyed our world under Hitler. And now we got to deal with them again, surrounding Trump, and our country is now slipping into the same hellhole. Concentration camps everywhere, the potential for people to be hauled out of their house for no reason and sent to a concentration camp is very real. And we are right on the peak point where we could veritably see the Fourth Reich take place in our country, and there's nothing we as Americans are going to be able to do anything about it. Because we don't have political representation. We have the Democrats and the Republicans who suck off of the corporate tit, and the Democrats do too. So what I want to do is take a different approach toward centrism, and we've been very, very clear about that. I like to debunk things, and whenever I see things happening in front of me, like terrorist attacks in Sri Lanka, New Zealand, Christchurch, anywhere, I have to ask, is there any evidence? Is there any proof? And the more I look, the less I see. In the past 10 years, there have been 50 different terrorist attacks in the U.S. and abroad. Even more than that. Very little evidence whatsoever of anything that would be considered real. No blood evidence, nothing. So why are they pushing this agenda of terrorism and fear of terrorism? Because they want to build up military weaponry. And they've got a big deal here because they've now got a position where they own Vladimir Putin. He's a very wealthy guy. He's been sucking money in from the Russian oligarchs for years. They say Putin is worth $200 billion. He loves money. And guess what? Donald does too. So they got two leaders of the two strong nations militarily who are literally in a fight to create better and better weapons to fight each other. It's almost like a wet dream for a rich person who wants to look at these dumb, stupid animals they call military men, like Kissinger's famous quote where he called military men dumb, stupid animals. They can use those dumb, stupid animals to implement their plans to play war games, conventional war games. That's one of the big plans of the New World Order. They want to create a conventional fight between the left and the right, between America and the Soviet Union or former Soviet Union, Russia. They want that. They don't want to have peace because they make money and they expand credit when they need military weapons. So they want this fear of terrorism. I got to tell you, the Nazis frankly did win. They did win. They embedded themselves in our government. We beat the we beat the Germans and we beat the Japanese. Yes, we did. And Russia certainly helped. The Soviet Union was born out of that, and then voila, here we are. But in no way did we stop the Nazis. They've already embedded themselves deeply in our government and have for years. And I'd be kidding you if I told you that they didn't have a solid control of the inner circle of our government. And that in and of itself is a serious indictment of the situation we have. So when I talk about total collusion as a premise for our show, I am really talking about total collusion. These people who have total control are going to try to retain that control. Now, they have one obstacle. Nobody else has bothered to put up a fight. And we are the only ones out there that are putting up a fight. And I know that because we've tested the waters. I've talked to the FEC. Nobody else asked the questions that we asked them. We're literally the only group formed in the final days of the New World Order's push to take over all of our rights. And America's third party stands strong. And we continue to do the impossible. Keep the show rolling against all odds, all censorship, and all efforts to shut us down. And that's what's really kind of cool. And all your help in watching us and telling people about us has benefited immensely. These people are scared. They're scared that an honest man will become president of the United States and revolutionize this country and pull the leg out from under the table of the New World Order, making them unable to implement their grandiose plans of global domination. And you're seeing it right now, their attempt to take over Venezuela with Guaido getting special access to the U.S. funds. Apparently Guaido came from nowhere, was not duly elected, that's a lie, and he got access He was never elected to office. He got access to American money in Venezuela, and that's how he's been funding this takeover of Maduro's government. You're seeing right now an economic hit against Venezuela right before your very eyes, perpetrated by the New World Order and the Zionists that power up Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. And notice how they're meeting down there. The Russians are there. The Goldman Sachs are there. It's basically it's like an old boys network. You see, the monetarists don't have national barriers. They don't care if Russia's Russia or the U.S. is U.S. They will absorb our borders, and they're already doing it by buying off our public officials. I've never had a Zen burger, no. I haven't been to the thrift store to buy a new jacket yet, but I have an option. I can buy a new jacket for $5 like I did this David Taylor, or I could have this one washed. And I think I'd better off just, putting it back in the recycle bin and getting a new jacket for $5, don't you think? Yeah, why spend $20 to wash my jacket? I don't know if fast food's getting better, because what they're doing is they're putting soybeans that are genetically modified in all the grass-based burger alternatives. Yeah. There are a lot of people selling burgers now. They're, doing very well with vegan burgers, and they've got genetically modified soy in it. So you wonder why some of your family members are turning gay. Well, it's a known fact that it causes gayness. Soy does. Yeah. I can't take donations from anyone overseas. You know that. If you don't like the jacket, I can just take it off and wear my shirt. But I'm not here to please you. I think the jacket looks great. And it's still got years of wear, probably 14 years of wear left, without even washing it. How to get Trump's tax returns without a subpoena. This should be interesting. Well, we know that contempt of court documents may be filed against William Barr if he does not present the 448-page unredacted to Congress. We know that's coming down next week if Barr does not cooperate. In 1924, law suggests Democrats can sue the Treasury Department if it doesn't turn over the president's taxes. Wow, that's good news. Congress' pursuit of President Trump's tax returns is already hardening into a stalemate between the Democratic House and Trump's Treasury Department. All right. Steve Mnuchin is refusing Neal's request that the IRS turn over several years of Trump's personal and business tax returns. Committee Chairman Richard Neal, Ways and Means. And they said that the purpose of his request is congressional oversight, but Mnuchin dismisses this explanation as contrived and contends that Neal's real purpose is to expose the president's tax returns for the sake of exposure. Not at all. In fact, I was surprised that Robert Mueller did not get a subpoena for the tax returns. And remember, Donald Trump did tell the American people openly, "Oh, gladly show you my tax returns for 10 years, no problem." I don't have any smells. I wash 3 times a day, so I don't smell. I don't need Febreze. I would never use something artificial in my clothes. I am an all-natural person. I don't believe in toxic fumes and dangerous chemicals in the air that haven't been tested with long-term cancer and mutagenicity. You don't know what you're breathing when you're getting those products. And they haven't checked either. SC Johnson and the family company hasn't done complete checks on their products. We rely on affidavits that these things are safe. Our government hasn't done a damn thing to protect your air quality. I said this the other day, that there is not one single law out there protecting our indoor air quality. The Democrats have been asleep at the switch for years. They've done nothing to advance the Clean Air Act of 1970. Nothing. And you won't hear this from Ocasio-Cortez. Please don't come in and make racial statements that are negative about black people. Thank you. I'm not racist and never have been, and I don't appreciate your attitude. The real reason Trump wants Venezuela, because Putin wants it too. Yeah. Oh yeah, well it's the oil reserves. The Goldman Sachs and the Russians are both in on the oil reserves. They love that. They want to take over every country they can. The proven oil reserves in Venezuela are massive. Look at that. The largest in the world. You're looking at the proven and projected oil reserves around the globally. There's even more oil in Venezuela than Kuwait and UAE and Iran put together. Wow. That is a significant little factoid. And I don't believe the 36.5 for the U.S. is accurate. We have a little thing that we haven't tapped into. In fact, right off the coast of Florida, Shell Oil just found $1.6 trillion worth of oil. Yeah, but the Chinese are mining it horizontally from Cuba. So we're not the only ones mining it. Prudhoe Bay shut down after the Exxon Valdez, but we definitely have lots of oil up there. Mentally ill woman gave birth alone in an isolated jail cell. Wow. Yeah, we're only going to get a few people into iVlog because of the newest trend that iVlog's involved in. I think iVlog's getting paid. I really believe that they're getting paid to not have our show promoted or even getting people in here. Wow, this is kind of sad. A jailed and pregnant mentally ill woman was forced to deliver her child alone in an isolation cell last month as corrections officer ignored her cries for help. Broward County public defender charged. Florida, go figure. I eat tomatoes every day, yes. And tomato juice is in the tomatoes. Yeah, help the environment, expose GMOs, stop catering to Saudis, good point. Reschedule marijuana from class 1. Don't even put it as a scheduled list. It has to be removed from the scheduled list of controlled substances. It's got medicinal qualities. You can't have an item on the scheduled list of controlled substances that has medicinal qualities. It automatically exempts it from the Schedule 1 and 2. So you were in iVlog and Scissorfied banned you? Well, we'll try to be a little bit lenient whenever we can because obviously the numbers have been really tanking at iVlog. We're not sure why. I think it's somebody's paying iVlog off. Because I was up around 30 guests. He didn't ban, yeah, Scissorfied didn't ban anyone. I was up about 35 guests. They are liars. That's correct, Scissorfied. I had 35 guests the other night, and it wasn't just a promotion. It was like people were in, and it's, come on, this is something that's not right here. Well, any woman is jailed and has to give birth alone shows you the incompetence of our jail system. You know, there was a guy who died at our local jail a couple of years ago from no water. In 14 days, he had no more than 1 gallon of water. In 14 days. Yeah, see, I'm not on the iVlog front page. You see, that's what they're doing. They're purposely keeping us down. Sure, here's the jail woman link. You can read about it, Miami. We had a guy who died from no water, and then just last year, a woman died of having meningitis. Walking around the jail cell with meningitis, this poor woman, she's a homeless woman, but it's so sad. She's only like 35 years old. And she was literally locking up from meningitis. Her whole back was shutting down, and she was kind of like in a zombie state. It's horrible to see meningitis take place in front of your eyes. The staff didn't bother getting her even a checkup, and she flat out died of meningitis right there on the floor in front of everybody. And that was over in Snohomish, which is about 30 miles away. But ironically, the guy who died of water dehydration had spent most of his time at Snohomish, which is not exactly a jail you want to be stuck in. It sounds like the jail from hell. Yeah. So apparently iVlog has got a way in which they've kept us off of the main page, and I'm pretty sure Mark is giving them money now. There was talk last week that Mark was trying to buy iVlog. He was throwing big cash at him. I'm not making that up. It happened in corrupt Broward County, the same place the hanging Chaz occurred, where we were forced to have George W. Bush for so long. Stand down, corrupt sheriff. Right. He told those people to stand down and not stop that kid, Nicholas Cruz, from killing I don't even believe that story. No. Nicholas Cruz, I seriously don't believe killed anybody, 17 people. I don't believe it. I saw his testimony. It was completely and utterly insane. I'm going to do a refresh on the screen here. Do you think I should just go off and go back on again? Okay. We've got a woman who's taking a ride in a really fast car, and she's generally frightened. Okay. Apparently this is
Oh my god.
That's nothing.
Oh my god.
I haven't even accelerated yet.
You know what? I don't really like roller coasters and stuff.
You know, I don't blame her. I'm frightened from the whole experience just watching it. It's apparently an R32 GTR, 9 seconds. Yeah. I don't really want to. Now I'm showing up. Okay, now I'm listed in the lineup. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? I wasn't even listed in the lineup when I started the show. Isn't that strange? I find that very strange. Thank you, Bengalitis. The DJ Sam on demand. What do you mean it's fake? She keeps her legs crossed. I don't know what to look at here. I don't know if she is going to do anything. I'm not going to feature that, no. No, it's not really something that would meet our requirements, but I will play it later in our show. So we have a lot of people who can't find a girlfriend in this world. That's not exactly sustainable. Thank you. I got incels in our room that like Xenu. He's never met a woman to have a relationship with, and he's frustrated, and a lot of you are. And you're really just a byproduct of a society that doesn't seem to want people to have relationships. I was being censored. I don't need to take rides. I don't need to go to the Vatican. Yeah. I don't need to travel in a Lamborghini. I have a free Tesla coupon at my local Tesla store, but I think they closed it down. I think they're closing down the Tesla stores. I think Elon Musk is coming up with new ways to market his products. Yeah, so I don't think I'm going to be able to get that ride on the Tesla that some guys gave me his card and said, "Yeah, come by, we'll give you a test ride." Yeah, I don't think this guy knows what's going on. Do you hear he's still looking for $2 billion in investment capital? He already got stung by the SEC, and they said, "Hey, you can't do that. You can't try to go private after you've been public." I know. Well, I'll definitely tell Sarah about the first class tickets, but I don't fly in planes because I don't trust their navigation systems. I am being blacklisted. I've been telling you guys I've been censored for so long. It's unbelievable. I cannot believe that the American people are unaware of this censorship that's been happening. Most people have no clue, but they want to believe that a third party is something they want. They believe that we got over 57% of the population wants a third party. Seriously. I don't believe any plane is safe, Pitoro. They have the ability to hack into navigation systems remotely from outside the plane. You didn't know that? Yeah. They can control the vertical and the horizontal, everything. Hey, here, I haven't played this in a long time. It's my energy video. I played early on in 2010.
Hi everyone. Today we're going to demonstrate how important solar energy is to our renewable energy future in America. I'm David John Sponheim for ATP Live, and we're doing a road trip here. I'm running a solar panel right here that has a fan on the back of it. There's wind blowing. You can probably see my hair blowing in the background. Okay, there's something wrong with this picture, and I'll tell you what's wrong with the picture. And that is, take a look here. In the background, you're looking at wind towers that aren't moving. You're looking at an actual series of wind towers all the way around that are not moving, yet the wind is blowing. Now look at Sarah's hair right now. And you can see her hair is blowing.
I'm not touching it, it's blowing.
And that's why wind power is not something that we can rely on solely for our renewable energy needs.
Okay, we're seeing some windmills, but they're not moving.
This is an example of the downside of renewable energy systems like windmills. There's no wind, folks. Wind energy only produces at the most 15% of our energy needs, even if they're running at full capacity. And as you can see, none of these are moving. Now, wind energy is a very, very good program for the electric grid. Now, I support the idea of windmill production, but I'm not going to support massive projects which will cost tons of money and not provide us free energy. Bell Labs created this technology, and in 1975, this is actually 30 years ago, and this technology actually creates enough energy to power up a fan in the background. The fan is blowing, it's creating energy, and it's a constant source of energy. Whereas what we're dealing with obviously these windmill production systems is we actually have to rely on a tremendous amount of wind to get these massive turbines going. And ultimately, our country is going to be left holding the bag, paying for these huge windmills long term, and it's going to cost us because they don't always work. Now, I believe that wind power will give us about 15% of our energy needs, maximum. The solar can virtually create free energy all around our country. And that's what this new book is about, Free Energy. It's about building a sustainable economy where you could actually drive an electric vehicle and it'll run for free. You won't be monetized, you won't have to they won't charge you for that energy. You'll plug into an electric plug at your house that you currently have, and it'll give you free energy. It'll come from
Okay, I'm going to break into that and bring up my free energy solution. Yeah, we've got a fantastic idea here. This can run at 5 miles per hour. Yeah, this is a 5 mile per hour windmill created by Savonius, and I put the idea together to put it on our electric poles. And I think we could generate a tremendous amount of backup energy from something very affordable. And these windmills are not 1.5 million like the big ones I was showing you. They are right around $1,000 we're going to construct them for. So free energy all over the place. And if they make them out of carbon fiber with magnetic rotors, this should last well over 50 years. Yeah. Now, because the electric grid is not currently broken down and delivering specific amounts of energy to every single person, they're trying to do that with the smart grid. They're trying to put together, dole out energy as we go. Normally, the electric grid is based on just a huge amount of energy just thrown in one direction. Well, that's kind of what this will do. It'll throw energy in one direction, and when we see we have enough, we won't have to generate oil-based and coal-based electricity. Far better to have renewable energy sources pumping as much as we can. Now, the green alternative does not include hydroelectric. When all the Democratic states authorize green and mandatory green production of energy by 2030, they won't include hydroelectric. I think they should. In order to meet and comply with the standards of the 2030 plan, I think they have to. Hydroelectric energy is a huge source of natural energy, which is totally renewable. And there's no reason why we can't do that. Donald doesn't have a clue as to what caused his skin cancer that's growing on his face. It's sun exposure, not windmills. These windmills are already, the ideal thing is to put them on the electric grid, like I'm doing here, so that we won't have to worry about electromagnetivity coming from windmills. There's already electromagnetivity coming from the electric grid. So it's not going to in any way impair your visuals because you're looking at something already that's pretty much impairing your visuals. So all those environmentally overconscious people who don't really understand how this works, they can all go to bed. And when they wake up, there'll be electricity because we thought this through. Canada's going to sell hydroelectric power at 40 cents on the dollar to the US. Well, that's the thing. We don't even need it. We've got 5 hydroelectric dams in Washington that aren't even running at full capacity. They run them at 20%. So we've got an infrastructure of bureaucracy that refuses to buy hydroelectric energy at a lower cost. They want to make money. Remember Enron? That was all about making money on the consumer. And when they got caught in Enron, then they had to renegotiate, and they're trying to hide the fact that they would much rather create oil and coal-based energy than hydroelectric energy because that's so cheap. They're not going to make enough money. You see where we're going? Yes, Andrew GVN is a member of this Lot Lizard group that is defecting, essentially. Andrew's in the process of realizing that we're a great show and we really are, caring individuals. So just because he was in their show, we know everybody that's been in the Lot Lizard show. We have full knowledge of that. Just because they were in the show doesn't mean that they're not actually switching to our side. As you know, the gang stalkers that shut us off YouTube are still at it, trying to stop us in every way they can. Nature chatters. Climate change may directly impact the transition to animal to human disease. Animal to human disease may be influenced by climate change. Nice. I'd rather not. Let's dispense with the word climate change until we can talk about the chemtrails that they're dumping on our heads. Because no Democrat out there will talk about this. If we can't talk about the elephant in the closet, what's the point of even, talking at all? I'm sure the little rodents will have a problem too. Yes. King Jones says, yeah, I agree with David. Zionists would rather burn this country to the ground than allow free energy. We've seen all kinds of beneficial free energy solutions. Like there's a Thrive movement that has researched this, powered up by some very wealthy people. They found out that free energy and zero-point energy is totally possible, but oil is too powerful. They want to keep making money. We can still work with the oil lobbies and we can still work with oil production because, frankly, I think oil is a renewable resource. When you look at the sustainability of the planet, imagine the Earth as a living entity with, a gut and a bowel movement and gas. Look at it that way. Yeah, believe it or not, the Earth is farting out oil and gas all the time. What do you think Yellowstone is? It's an open volcano waiting to bubble up to the top. It's like an open sore. But oil is being generated all the time underground, but not one geologist would agree with me. Seriously. It's common sense to tell you that oil is coming from an internal molten lava interaction with carbon. And any moron could tell you that, but that's why I didn't pursue my education in college, because they didn't admit this. They refuse. They somehow think that oil came from dendrified biolife millions of years ago. That somehow the oil that's 10,000 feet below the Marianas Trench, which is 45,000 feet underground, below sea level, that somehow that oil came from a dinosaur that melted its skin down and got real soupy and oily. Yeah, sure. Well, the fact is, we don't need to see oil as a dangerous, venomous thing. We can embrace the oil industry and still create renewable energy solutions. It's not mutually exclusive. The Democrats think it is. The Democrats want to hate on Saudi Arabia. I'm neutral on Saudi Arabia. I don't believe that Jamal Khashoggi even died and was put in a suitcase. There's no evidence to support that. At this point, I'm not going to be schmoozy with Saudi Arabia like Donald Trump is, but I'm not going to turn away an opportunity to have them as our ally. I think that their plans are certainly within the scope of reason to say that they're helping our economy. I mean, you wouldn't be paying $3 to $4 a gallon. I guess it's going up to $4 this summer. You wouldn't be paying $3 to $4 a gallon if you didn't have a good relationship with Saudi Arabia. Well, claiming that the Earth was once all plant life is a nice thought, but honestly, when you have molten lava interacting with carbon in rock formations, you're telling me that won't create liquid carbon? Seriously? That's absurd. Of course it will. India has a tremendous amount of open defecation going on. Yes. India needs some very drastic new bathroom designs, and I'm just the kind of guy to help you with that. One of the things that we're going to develop is an actual bathroom that's portable and affordable, that can actually burn the waste with the waste and the energy in the waste. See, every pile of feces has in it the energy necessary to burn itself up. We just have to capture it. If we took a pile of feces and then put a container around it and let it produce methane, it would take six weeks minimum to produce methane. That's how composting toilets work. But they don't use the methane. There's a new bacteria that can actually produce methane within seconds, and it's being developed right now to create a methane generator, which can then create electricity and can virtually burn that feces right there and the urine. There's a toilet out called the Incinolette. It takes 1,200 watts of energy, kind of like a big microwave, and it burns your poop and your piss. That's what happens. So there's new technologies on the horizon that will actually complete the life cycle of feces. You'll be able to actually burn it with the energy that it's in it. So that's technology that's not here yet. That's probably a decade or two away. Apparently, you have no place to be here. You can't be in the room if you were a flat earther. We don't allow you here. You're stupid. You have to have a certain level of intelligence to be in the show. If you're a flat earther, you need to leave. Arsenic-breathing life has been discovered in the tropical Pacific Ocean. Just when you thought life couldn't be any more toxic. Yeah, arsenic-breathing life. How nice. Yeah, so the UAV, the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute is looking into this. The mysterious odor forces Spirit Airlines flight to return to LAX.
Well, that's right. It was some frightening moments for these passengers on this flight to Denver when about halfway into their flight, about 40 minutes or so, they were forced to turn around. Here you see Spirit Airlines flight 630 on the ground at LAX. The Airbus 321 returned after the crew reported an odor in the cockpit and cabin. Some passengers in the front of the cabin said they felt ill, and on the ground, firefighters opened the baggage compartment door wearing full protective gear with oxygen tanks, and they entered the belly of the plane looking for anything unusual.
I didn't know anything was going on. I didn't smell anything, didn't see anything. And then the captain came over the intercom, and he just said that we have to make a landing back in LAX because some passengers are feeling nauseous due to a scent, and that they're doing the precautions to get the scent out of the cabin. Once we landed, there's firefighter paramedics came on the plane, and they took the people that were feeling ill. There's about like 7 people.
Okay, so, right, we have audio coming in. Big Bubba. We don't do Big Bubba here. We don't take calls from people named Big Bubba. Sarah's going to give me a little time. So we have the ability to recycle human waste and turn it into energy. The question is, how do we loop that energy rather quickly into a toilet that's completely autonomous and doesn't require holes to dig. And yeah. So I think it's just a question of before humankind can develop toilets that are affordable, mass produce them, and get countries like India involved.
Where did that conversation come from?
Oh, we're Sustainable Saturday. We're not going to do a political chat today. But it started with,
I can if you want, but
no, I don't want to. I don't really want to. The idea is Sustainable Saturday, we're talking about the fact that there's 500,000 people in India who openly go to the bathroom out in the open. 500,000 out of nearly 1.3 billion people now. 500 million people, not 500,000, 500 million out of 1.3 billion people openly go to the bathroom in public. So there's a lot of things that we would love to see change, but solving that problem is India's problem, not ours. But we'd love to have technology that would make that easier. That's for sure. All right, so
even when I'm feeling under the weather.
there's a big, huge, kind of a major scandal today.
I'll be right back. I'm
Sure.
gonna get some water
Okay.
or something.
There was a disqualification. The Kentucky Derby had a reversal. Country House declared the Kentucky Derby winner over after an inquiry ruling that Maximum Security is disqualified. Now, the photo finish puts Maximum Security, this horse, ahead, but it was acting, pushing the other horses away and actually ran in the second lane when it was a third lane horse. So it's weird lane running led to the ultimate overtake, and apparently this was a 61-1 victory. If you bought one ticket here and you placed, you got a certain large payoff on this horse that took over Maximum Security when Maximum Security was disqualified. See, we get some video here.
The moment that everybody will talk about forever in this derby. As Maximum Security moves off that rail, comes out, impedes the path of War and Will, gets in the way of Long Range Toddy and Country House, and then they make the sweeping turn, come down the stretch. Maximum Security crosses first, holds off Country House to look like he would win the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, that's a real big win, and it's partly because he did get in the wrong lane. If you bet $100 on that horse, you would have won $6,100. He was a 61-1 win opportunity. They should have marked the lane. I agree, and I just think this is one of the weirdest overtake of a final Kentucky Derby takedown. It's just rewriting history when you can clearly see how far in advance this first horse was.
Oh, it's because, like,
He had gotten into the second lane from the third lane and was dodging lanes, and that apparently disqualified him. And Maximum Security was the favorite also. Lots of angry people out there who felt that he was the true winner. Yeah. Thanks, Petoro, for your up-close personal assessment of problems around the world with human hygiene. David, do you think they shot the horse? No. No. I think what they usually do with the horses that win, they usually put them out for the stud farm, and they make a lot more money on them having kids. So that horse, Maximum Security, will probably be a very happy horse.
wait, Maximum Security was listed as coming in 17th place.
They put him in the back of the line for
What?
lane violation. Yeah.
What? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't-
They didn't even take him down to second place. They just pulled him out of the lineup and put him at the very back for doing a lane violation. I think it's rigged. I'll go so far as to say that.
Knew he cheated.
No. Wait a second. The Yamuna, India's most polluted river. The Yamuna. I thought the Ganges was. Now the Yamuna is eclipsed the Ganges as the world's most polluted river. Wow. Okay. I'll get to that later. Not so sustainable, isn't it? If we could solve this pollution problem in India and China, maybe we can solve our own problem first, because we're dumping crap on their shores. And as you know, I want to ban plastics.
Yeah, forget plastics.
Yeah, let's ban
I mean,
all plastic,
Well,
even
I like my
containers.
computer screen.
Yeah, okay.
I like my microphone.
Long-term plastics.
How about plastic packaging? Can we say that?
Yes.
I mean, because really it's like
I'm going to say plastic
packaging
bags.
I'm going to say packaging because I really feel like
Well, because it takes less space on the screen. The word bags.
well, plastic packaging is an alliteration.
Well, it's going to take a lot more space on the
Okay, let's
screen.
wait.
So.
You can do that later when you come back.
All right.
Thanks.
See you in a bit.
You can do your plastic bags later. Prevent plastic pollution packaging.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about packaging is that people, they pack it and all the packaging is usually hopefully recycled or worse, thrown away. David does a great job cleaning. Yes, David is president in our hearts. People of India, great, mostly in the culture is fascinating. Oval. All right. Thank you for your comments earlier, Zeno. I do appreciate your compliments, even though I feel like crap. I did not know that 406. What makes them better? Have they studied that? Is it like all the testosterone is built up in his body or something? 406. Well, I don't have tea, but I do have water. And I did bring in a roll of tissue, so I can I was drinking juice earlier, but I brought in tissue, so if I need to blow my nose, it can do that. I like that. Hemp-made plastics can be engineered to degrade rapidly and without oil toxins. Some of the cornstarch biodegradable stuff that needs commercial composters, I don't like those. Yeah, I am a bit more rested, even though I still woke up early this morning. There's a couple people I talked to early on Saturday morning. I'm going to mute myself while I blow my nose. Sorry. No, I don't think I have a fever. But I did sneeze, and that's good. And I'm trying to go with Maxed Out Credits idea of like blow my nose, get it out, rather than yeah. Wow, that's pretty cool. Interesting, Oval Bugman. Yeah, I'd like to invest in hemp. What did I eat? This morning I've been eating different things. This morning I had some coconut clusters and a little bit of chocolate. Then I had I like the paper straws. That's way better than the plastic ones. I had half a banana. I had some apple juice. I've been drinking a lot of apple juice. I haven't actually, I can't say about the paper straws. I've never used them. And I had a cup of hot cocoa. That was breakfast, basically. Then for I do have some cranberry juice, that's true, in the back of my fridge. Yeah. Somebody gave me a biodegradable straw, but it was like, it felt like plastic to me. I think it's one of those ones that's made out of corn. Or they called it a compostable straw, but I think it's made out of corn, and it's really still plastic, and you still have to, you can compost it, but you need a commercial composter that gets really hot to melt it, I think. Break it down. Trump approved industrial hemp in the US last year. That's a good idea. Ah, that's cool. Thanks for that, True Blue. Sanitary nipple. Well, I do like what, so I went to a Starbucks and they have these, for their cold drinks, closer to Seattle, instead of a straw, they have these like openings. It is kind of like a sippy cup. Similar, but a little bit different. But then you can just drink it like a cold ice beverage. And I thought that was good to avoid the straw. Maybe McDonald's can go in that direction. You should write to them. You should tweet to them and see what happens. I do like music. Thanks for the link, True Blue. Well, it's not... You're right that sippy cups are... If you kept them long term and reused them, they'd be bacteria. But these are like built into the lid of the cup. So it's like a lid that's, you know, they're going to put a lid on it. If they put a lid on it made out of plastic, it's all about designing the lid. Even though it is about the CO2 we add to the environment. But you're right. Oh, well. Fuck, man. All right. I know. Disposable. We have to move toward paper whenever possible. My big thing is all the plastic wrappers. If you know the cookies, there's like cookies and Cheez-Its and little snack baggies that they make for students' lunches. And they're like these Mylar things. That is just, that's what kind of irks me, because those, it's just, we could do it with paper. Kids, I mean, it's durable enough to put in a lunch, but still you could just, it disintegrates way faster than this plastic Mylar stuff. That's what I'll get on my preachy will be about, those plastic packaging. Millionaires and soldiers carry their own cutlery. I carry my own cutlery. Oftentimes it's plastic. Sometimes it was plastic cutlery, but now I'm carrying metal cutlery. Yeah, there's so much waste with packaging simple things like pencils, erasers, and then they feel like they always have to have a clear package on them, like, because we have to be able to see what's inside. Either put a picture on it. That's actually a good idea. They could put a picture on it. Photographic paper is a lot less. Take a picture. We have the technology. Take a picture, put it on a cardboard box, and so that people can see what's inside, and then there you have your way more sustainable packaging. What are you talking about? My master's taught me, well, actually, I learned this before my master's. One of the best classes taught me about being financial planning. And, well, I don't know if it was from that class or just from David and my mom, but being frugal, saving $5 adds up. And you know, a $5 meal is better than a $20 meal, and that money I can put into my retirement account. I've been watching lately Till Debt Do Us Part. I think I finished the series, but I was writing this morning in my journal and I was just saying, I am so glad you're going to try another bar. Why don't you tell the women what you tell me, Zeno? What you were saying to me earlier. Oh, you're gorgeous and all those things. I could leave David a tip when he cooks for me. I do like the Ticonderoga pencil. I was going for a while when I was teaching until I went down to second. Well, last year I taught third, and I was letting my students write with pens because I had this, even with math, and I had this theory, like if you make a mistake to put a line through it rather than to try to like erase. Most packaging is geared to saving time instead of the environment. But we can do both. It doesn't need to... We can do both. The save time and the environment. Yeah, that $6 tablet, that's pretty cool. Yes, Tom, of course. Thanks for that link, Oval Bugman. I'm sure David will like it. And I wish you the best of luck, Zenu. I'm hoping that tonight is the night that you find, well, maybe not the one, but you find a one-night stand. But David was saying, we were talking about you, sorry, but David was saying that you don't want a one-night stand, that you want some kind of deep relationship. Well, all deep relationships start with one night, so I'm hoping that you at least have a one night, and then you know, then you can decide if you want to build from there. Yeah, Ticonderoga is just yeah, it's all cardboard, I think. Yes, all cardboard. Yeah, Ticonderoga, good job on packaging your pencils. I love that you do not have like a plastic window to see the pencils. It's just great job. It's all cardboard, all recyclable. That's awesome. It's not too late. It's not too late to change things. I have to believe that. I have to start writing people. Well, I have a lot of other writing to do first. I'm working on... I've like have a list of things I'm going to be writing. I don't know about Ticonderoga if they use like paint, but you can shave down, you can sharpen their pencils and use the wood shavings in like a compost bin. Oh, erasing is not allowed when dealing with research. I like that. Lines must be used to preserve the history. I like that. Well, pencils are no longer have lead in them. They have graphite. And so the graphite is not bad for kids. It's basically carbon. All right, chalkboards. Yeah, I still use chalkboards sometimes. I like Maxed Out Credit's little tablet there. That's very cool. Oh, I was just looking at the student demographics. There's this really cool. Actually, do you want me to show you? You can find the student graphics of any school in Washington State with this thing called the Washington State Report Card. They used to be made out of lead, I think, a long time ago. I don't know why they call them lead pencils, because they're not lead anymore. I think they used to be. So, this is, let me show you. This is the Washington State Report Card. This is for all of Washington State, and it says, so there were 1,115,445 students enrolled in October of 2017. I think they do that the ones after the school year, and then they have a little bit more male than female. This is male, female. And then down here they have the ethnicity. So American Indian, Alaska Native is 1.4%, Asian 7.7%, African American 4%, Hispanic or Latino 23%, Pacific Islander 1%, white 54%, and then 2 or more races 8%. That is, I know, David decided to not do PolitiChat tonight, and I think that's fine. Sometimes my students correct me, especially if I call them a different name. Like, I have a couple of blonde-haired girls in my class, and for some reason, whenever I see the blonde hair on one of my students, I always say the other student's name. And then she's like, but that's not my name. So, anyway. And students do teach me things I didn't know, because I don't read about every single animal. They're like, did you know the spotted toad could do something weird with its feet? I don't know what it, they just come up with these random things. I know it is respectful to call students by their proper name. So because I have a deal with them if I'm not respectful. If I do it more than a few times, then I'll apologize, of course, and then I talk to them about maybe they can make up a name or something. May the 4th be with you. But I do greet students each morning with a handshake. Most mornings, I shouldn't say every morning, but most mornings, but except when I'm feeling sick or I was just in the worm bin and my hands are dirty, I greet them with a handshake, and I call them by their name, and I say good morning and say their name, and sometimes I'll compliment them or just notice things and be like, how was this? If they told me about, like, my dad's birthday was today, I'll be like, how was your dad's birthday? Or developing relationships. I do those, and I don't wash my hands as much as I should. And no wonder I'm always getting sick. I know. But I think it's important because I really think it teaches them to, like, when they grow up, if they're going for a job, it's usually shake people's hands. I probably would say this past week a student brought a clay figurine to school, which I should have just taken and said, I'm gonna keep this safe for the day, but I didn't. And then it broke. So that was a sad experience, and they were upset. So that was one sad experience. Would you do the fist bump or anything like that? Yeah, when you hire people at the hospital, nurses, you have to teach them to wash their hands. It's true. I should go wash my hands. Yes, I do. I have students who love to laugh for no apparent reason. Maybe sometimes they laugh just because they're uncomfortable with, like, math. Sometimes they, there are students that already talk like Valley Girls. I don't teach in California, so no. Don't you do like some people do the elbow, like an elbow bump? Thanks, Andrew. Is he alive, really? Do I talk like a Valley Girl? Yeah, shake the chicken wing. Thanks, roast beef. I don't know, Xenu. I haven't. David was right. Anyway. Why do they have a different wait? Oh wait, why do they have a different standard for men than women, Misanthropy? They should make men wear tops as well. Cover yourself up. Men say like, well, usually what I was taught, I took a speech course, and what I learned in that course was that and like are placeholders. So when you're having a conversation with someone, people often use and like so that the other person that they're talking to doesn't jump in and interrupt them when they're trying to complete their train of thought. It's not only because they don't know what they're going to say, it's also they feel like someone's going to jump in and talk over them. However, when you're giving a speech, you shouldn't have that thought that someone's going to jump in on you. Can be a sign of thought formulation, but you don't have to verbalize it.
Today, I want to tell you about Ignaz Semmelweis, a Hungarian scientist from the mid-1800s.
Okay, that looks good. Yes, Hillary and Obama both have said and a lot. No, did I get to tell you about mine 117? Not just today, but then also yesterday's, just let me tell you this. I'll sum it up. I feel so much better. You're probably right, Bingo, but I also did clean off my tables. I think it's because that it is true that saying like and it does show a lack of confidence. I learned that speech class did help me because I saw everybody else using and like. So it cured me of that. Yes. Or another big one is, you know. You know. You know. You know what I'm saying? That's another one. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I don't understand it either. Oh, Junkins. I sometimes start a sentence with so, but not that often. You know, bro. You know, brah. No, I can't do that. My brother used to do, you know, and then a lot and then I would hang out with him, and then I would pick up on it because it's this thing that happens naturally when you're talking with someone. You mirror them. Well, I'm going to say that David is more confident only because the only reason I'd say David's more confident than you is because he does a show and he has to expose, that is putting himself at risk, exposing himself, making himself. I think it's also about vulnerability and courage. I didn't watch the show, so I don't know. But I did watch, oh, there you go with I did watch this show recently, Brene Brown on Netflix, called The Call to Courage. And it was like, you can't, she said, it was like, there we go, with like, she said that you can't have courage without vulnerability. And I really feel that what David is doing by having this show every night is both courageous and exposes vulnerability. Some people have definitely rehearsed thoughts that give the impression of confidence. And I agree with that too. Ooh, in order to teach, you must listen. In order to build trust, you must listen. You're full of it. You mean wisdom, maxed out credit? That's what you're full of. You're so full of wisdom. That's pretty funny, 406. That statement goes with the earlier guest statement. I know. Imagine when your brain was whole. You must have been full of even more wisdom. I only saw him like 2 times. Can you take a screen capture? And then I don't want to go into his show because then he's going to think like he's going to use that as something like, oh, you're in my show and under my name and things like that. So I'd rather not. I almost went into a show to see if it was him, but then I didn't want my name to pop up in his show. So probably not. Bingo. Well, what is interesting to you, Bingo? I find different people have different passions and different interests. Okay, so what's not so Alex Jones is not interesting to you. Like, to me, math is interesting to me, science is interesting to me, environmental things are interesting to me. Data, I like data. I have, yes, that's true, misanthropy. Buying clothes online is stressful. I usually don't do it. Oh, but I did hear this lady said, I went to this training last week. Was it this week? It was this week. And she said that she's renting her clothes. Like, there's a new thing about you rent the clothes so that if they're the wrong fit, you just like send them back. Or yeah, I thought that was really interesting. I've never heard of that before, but it's also, yeah, it was a woman that did it, was saying it, that she rents her clothes. But it's also like a way to be, they claim it's like a way to be more environmentally sustainable, because usually you only wear your clothes for a season, so you rent them for a season and then you send them back and then they go to someone else, I guess. Amazon has purchased after trying with free returns. So you could do clothes that way. Was it obvious that she was renting her clothes? No, I would never have known until she told me. Thanks, Andrew. Oh, that you're a Virgo. Okay. But I was really glad I was able to, I did buy one thing online. It was a shirt for David, because I was like, oh, I've done some purchases online and they've been pretty good. And so I bought a dress shirt for David and I had to send it back because the outside of the package claimed it was the size that I ordered, but the actual shirt was not the size that I ordered. But, and it was pretty easy to print the label and send it back, but I know, I always think that you're talking to me, misanthropy. Sorry. You can go ahead and have a conversation, but you could say, never mind. You could say the other person's name instead of my name. All right, bye 406. Have a good night. Enjoy your retirement. No, usually David buys his clothes. I was trying to be nice. Actually, I had ruined one of his shirts, and so I was trying to replace it. But it didn't work out. I'm sorry, Bingo, if I ignore you. Wait, who needed see-through packaging? Why can't they just take a picture? Print it on paper. Trying to change packaging through this one venue of iVlog and Vaughn Live. Okay, Oval. You ordered 2 periscopes for the twins at Christmas from Amazon. One of the boxes has a 24-inch machete in it? What? That's so bizarre. That is very wild. Why would somebody put a machete in it? That must have been going to a different place that was trying to sneak something out of the kitchen. The kids, your nephews started fighting each other for the machete. I guess now you have to open all the boxes of the things you get them. Twin boys, 8-year-old twin boys, identical or fraternal? Paternal? Anyway. Thanks for putting Sarah. I'm trying to picture David in skinny jeans. No, I don't think they would work on him. I mean, I'd be okay with it, but for him, I don't think they'd work. I think they'd probably work for you if you're in shape and they're... I'm not saying David's not in shape. He's in great shape. Yeah, maxed out credit. I agree with that. I can actually picture David in the garden with overalls. Pangolitis, that's hilarious. Oh my gosh. That's funny. Thank you for the laugh. A gardening show would be less boring than me just talking with you. That's probably true. David and I went out to the garden today and we planted, we went to a store and I bought a little container of Brussels sprouts. There's 4 Brussels sprouts in there, Brussels sprout plants. So we planted the Brussels sprout plants and I transplanted a lavender plant because I wanted to take the lavender out of my garden bed and put it... I have like these hillside... I have a hillside leading up to garden beds. And so on the hillside, eventually I want to have daisies because one of my garden beds is completely full of daisies. so I want to take them out of the garden beds so that we can plant other things in that garden bed. I want to take the daisies and put them on the hillside. I heard that daisies will completely take over an area. However, if you put lavender on the sides as like a hedge, then the daisies won't take over. It kind of keeps the daisies contained. I'm not a fan of lavender scent myself. I much prefer lilac. I do have, in our garden, we have these gorgeous oregano plants growing right now, and some mint. I'm not sure if it's peppermint or spearmint, but we've got some mint growing. And I think some parsley, but I did pull out some parsley because it was just, had gone to seed and it was just like a stem now. Bengalitis, I'm not banning anyone, including you. So, there you go. A lilac grows as a bush, and they're almost like a small tree, a shrub maybe. I don't know the difference between bush shrub. It's tall like a tree, but it's not as tall as some trees. Anyway, is it a lilac tree? Anyway, they're blooming this time of year, and I love the smell of lilac. Oh, chicken, you know how that gets us going, though. Your intestinal parasites, man. I mean, I like my worms, but your intestinal parasites, wow, look out. Don't plant a lilac next to a foundation. What about a rose? Is a rose okay to plant next to a foundation?
Right.
I know, don't you like that? That I go along with some of your jokes?
I guess they like that,
Yeah.
Group laugh.
Don't you like David's group laugh? Okay, good.
You can mix your pesto sauce in with some of the pasta to make it more tasty for you. And I made some chicken with sausage, pasta, broccoli, because the broccoli had to be eaten.
Okay.
You guessed it, broccoli. Yeah.
Oh, good. I was gonna make another round of that broccoli soup, but
they were on their way up.
you already finished.
I had
them.
to trim all the bottoms. You can fish around in the bowl for the broccoli. Gonna get as much as you want out of there.
Oh, it's fine.
But I made elbow macaroni and I used canned chicken and some sausages with onions,
Thank you.
mushrooms,
That
and a little
sounds
bit of
good.
orange sauce. But there really is a need for more spice, so go for it.
Okay, pesto. Got it.
Break open that pesto. And you
Yeah,
can make
so
some
David
lunches
was
too
nice
out of that
about-
if you want.
Yeah, David was nice to go work in the garden with me.
Yeah. She got quite a garden.
Yeah, I was telling him how he helped me plant.
Yeah.
Transplanted lavender.
I love that. Yeah. I love planting.
And we planted some Brussels sprout plants.
Yep. Thank you, Sarah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm just staying the same. I am very shocked that people don't recognize the truth about how people have been lying on the side about dying. And there's a guy out there who claimed he died, and Mark said he died. Mark was crying on the screen saying his best friend died. Now he's up broadcasting right now. And we knew that he had faked his death because we had an excellent source of information. I trust this person implicitly and on what he knows. And it's true. Scissor Fight told me a long time ago that T. Rucker had actually faked his death twice before. Can you imagine that? No. Everybody outed him. Scissor Fight was just the guy who told me, he'd looked him up and he found him. And I appreciate the reveal, Yeah. Because I didn't know what to think. A person who had claimed he died was Mark. And Mark said he cried and said he'd passed away, and now he's up broadcasting on a channel. So, and he had numerous cases out there that were pretending to be obituaries. He had 3 fake obituaries he created. I disagree, and you're going to be muted for that. The very fact that you would even stand here in support of T. Rucker is pathetic, Dr. Meow. Yeah, T. Rucker's broadcasting right now. And it's through good, solid information that, you know, we get information on these people. Thanks. Yeah. We get solid information. You're not allowed to publish that face here. That's a bannable offense. If you do it again, I'll ban you. Now, we permabanned War Games last night. It's just I can't handle a conversation, or was it 2 nights ago? I can't handle a conversation where people deny what's right in front of them. And we've done a lot of effort to expose the truth, and people refuse to look at our exposés and act like, no, Dave, you know, you don't have any proof that chemtrails are being sprayed in the skies above you. And actually we do. We have proof of a lot of things. Chemtrails. We have more than enough information. In fact, I constructed a website called chemtrailparty.com. If you want to go to it, check it out. It's a source for links to verify the existence of chemtrails. I wanted to make it easy for people to understand what's happening. These things that they're spraying in the skies are toxic. And there's no peer-reviewed studies done to protect our country from this terrible spray. If you want to talk about climate change and deny that this is happening in the skies above you, then you must be a real idiot. Or better yet, a Democrat. Total idiot. A libtard. Or if you want to believe that it's not happening, or that Donald Trump is somehow stopping it, he's not. You're a Trump-tard. It blocks oxygen. That alone makes you wonder why they're doing it. It blocks the creation of oxygen, blocks light for photosynthesis, and weather warfare. Another classic example of how they're trying to play God with our weather. And what are they spraying? Who really knows? Lithium, aluminum, barium, selenium, strontium, nanoparticles. Vaccines? They could be spraying aerial vaccines. We don't even know because they won't tell us. Yeah, it's obvious. And we're in need of a political representation because the Democrats and Republicans will not represent this issue. So therein lies a need for a third party. We have many needs for a third party. That's not the only one. 2 parties won't address dangerous GMOs. But they want to go off the deep end. The Democrats want to they want to accept LGBTQ as a lifestyle purpose for telling children that you can become LGBTQ if you want. Not saying you're a boy or a girl because of your sex. Gender's different. I don't believe in that either. I'm a centrist. I don't want to discriminate against transgenders like Trump, but I also don't want to embrace the LGBTQ community like the Democrats. So there's a lot of reasons why a centrist political movement is necessary to just stand the line, create the line of demarcation of what's right and what's clearly wrong. Now, if you want to become a lesbian, bi, gay, transgender, you are entering an area that is deviant. There are a lot of people who are deviant. You can be deviant. It's okay. It's all right. It's not the end of the world if you're deviant. You can be deviant. But you will be deviant in the eyes of everyone that you see. They'll see you as an odd person. I'm not gonna make it seem like everything's okay. You want to dress up and smear stuff on your face. It's not okay. It's not normal. It may be okay in your mind, but you will be seen as deviant. Anyway, I just want you to realize what you're up against if you want to become a tranny. Let's not just expect children to become transsexuals. That's absurd. Okay, so we've talked about chemtrails enough. We don't have to go into detail. If we can't admit that we're being sprayed, then yeah, you've got some issues. You can be whatever you want. I'm not telling you what to be, and I won't discriminate against you if you're in the government where you want a government job. I won't. If you want to do dress up every day, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I won't judge you on that. But I'm not going to tell mom and pop restaurant in America that they've got to have a certain quota of transgenders, which is where the Democrats are going. In my state, they're insisting now that affirmative action takes over the hiring of teachers. This affirmative action not only has spread to the colleges, but now in my state, the liberal state of Washington, they're saying that teachers have to be hired based on quotas, that they need a certain number of black people to teach kids, a certain number of Hispanic kids. They need ratios. I think that's unconstitutional. You should be chosen on your merit, the content of your character, not the color of your skin. Ironically, affirmative action does exactly that. It judges you on the color of your skin. If you're white, you don't get a scholarship to go to school. Or if you're like me and you were the #1 student in your high school class of 770 students, you weren't given access to Ivy League colleges, even though my scores were in the top 98 percentile on the SAT. So all of these things come into play, and everything points to a really bizarre reality check for everybody. Are we supposed to go down the Democratic liberal lane of being politically correct and never speaking our mind, being afraid to say anything like they're doing in England, whether you can't say anything, otherwise you're called a racist? Or do you just want to be yourself and get protected by the First Amendment, freedom of speech? I say we go for being protected by freedom of speech, and you can say whatever you want to say as long as it doesn't endanger anybody. Anyway, that's where this centrist movement is starting to really gain some ground. We're starting to, spell it out that people are not going to fall into the deviant category like the Democrats, or they're not going to be extremely supportive of corporate America like the Republicans, who constantly see nothing wrong with the excesses of profit-taking left and right, and the ultimate betrayal of the American people and how we have no opportunity. You see people like Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates and others trying to hire people only in India. They want to bring green card holders in. They really want that expertise from a pool of 1.3 billion people. They don't want to give our own high school students who are top scored receivers of excellent grades, etc. They don't want to give those people a hand up, an education and programming so that they can work in the Microsoft or the Facebook community. I mean, we should be teaching our kids Facebook code. That would be a standard teaching procedure in 7th, 8th grade. Same with Microsoft. They should be accredited by the age of 16, 17. They could be Microsoft accredited. All these things need to be readjusted. We have to look at our industry and hire U.S. citizens. So in order to make this nation sustainable, we need to offer opportunity at this level, grassroots level. So I'm hoping that an infrastructure bank will fund this operation and get started. Now, I'm offering a 6-week to 6-month training course in any area that any industry in your area wants to train you in. They can do it in 6 weeks or up to 6 months, their choice. They can lay out all the things you need to know to do the job, and they will guarantee hiring the top percentile in that class. So anybody who got a B or an A probably will be hired. If you're skating through with a C average, you may not make it. I'm just telling you. But you'll still have another option to go into another career that you will adapt to. We want a very flexible, short-term education plan, unlike Elizabeth Warren, who cannot possibly finance what she's promising. I will do something amazing with the loan system. That FAFSA loans, we will amalgamate the loans into one note, and I will add it to the infrastructure bank. A $1.3 trillion debt note is owed by people who've been going to school and getting lots of money to go to school. Well, right now the system is so screwed up that people pay toward the interest. They never even make it to the principal. By the time they're, 30 years later, they're still paying the interest on the student loan they got when they were a kid, a young person. Well, I think Facebook is going downhill within a year. I agree with you there. Yes. Okay, you got a lineup of videos for tonight? Thank you. Wow. A teenage girl was found murdered in her home in Leafy, Wiltshire Village. Wow. And 4 homemade organic pesticides every gardener must know. Simple solutions for mealybugs. Making an aquatarium with 2 flowing waterfalls. That looks really fun. Thank you very much, Anita. Appreciate you getting me a list like that. That's great. All right. We got a thing on my favorite scientist. That'll be something we'll bring in later. I think I turned the burners off. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Okay. You're going to bed? Okay, you took your insulin. Take care. Good night. Thank you, Max. Yeah, Facebook's under a lot of pressure. They're starting to, yeah, it's a commie trash can. They're starting to really screw over people. You know that 1.5 million people who had gone in and gotten new passwords and usernames because their previous passwords and usernames were compromised? That list was put on a text file and published publicly. Can you imagine publishing a list of everybody who's trying to protect their passwords? Their passwords were published too. Facebook is out of control. Mark Zuckerberg is a dunce. He doesn't even know what he's doing. He borrowed the idea from 2 guys, stole the idea from 2 guys, paid them $160 some odd million, and then acts like he's the guru of tech. It's ridiculous. He's merely a mouthpiece for a social network that's being used and hijacked by our government. Yeah, it wasn't a hack. They published it outright. They published the list outright. That's how out of control their privacy factor is. And, you know, when Zuckerberg stood in front of the Senate, he didn't really have anything to say but smile and, you know. And the Senate didn't even know what to talk about. They had him in front of them for 10 hours, but they don't even understand what's going on. Facebook is openly soliciting people to get their lists and make money, like Cambridge Analytica, which gave all kinds of information to the Russians so they could rig the election, which Donald seems to be gloating in. Donald loves the fact that he won because the Russians helped him, but there's no collusion. What a joke. Hey there, Hare. What's going on, man? The blimp plane idea is something I came up with in 2009 when we went to the Beyond Oil expedition over in Microsoft University, or Microsoft campus, I should say. We did the Beyond Oil thing, and I introduced the idea to a bunch of Boeing representatives. And the actual blimp concept was something that I had thought of that year. And I believe we have a lot of old planes that could have blimp plane attachments and work very well as a way of transporting people from one point to another. Introducing the blimp plane. You're at the steps of the Capitol built massive protests by black Israelites. Oh, really? I think it's probably, yeah, most of the black Israelites they're not Ashkenazis, so I don't believe you, Ace Spade. Yeah, exactly. Zuckerberg had a reptilian glitch during that hearing. Slitty eyes. I saw that. Well, Mark Zuckerberg is actually a very wealthy young man. He inherited all his wealth from David Rockefeller. He's, in my opinion, it's a facade what he's doing, pretending to be Mark Zuckerberg. Oh my gosh, Firefox extensions are still dead? Really? Bengalitis? Wow. See, Google is at a veritable war with Firefox. And Firefox is trying to now get their certificates in order because everyone's lost their extensions. Which makes Firefox the reason why people use it is because of the extensions. They're great. A parody website embarrassing photos of Joe Biden is outranking his official campaign page on Google. Okay, I'll look at that in just a second. But yeah, we're talking about a way of getting from point A to point B using retired fuselage of various planes. Out in Arizona, Nevada, there's a boneyard out there of planes. I mean, it's massive. This is Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, but look at the planes we have in reserve. These are just a few of them. Massive amount of planes. Now, these are small planes, but if I search for a jet boneyard, let's see what we get. Yeah, airlines abandoned in the desert. Check this out. Apparently this is going to be something I'll play tonight because Van Life has the story. This guy lives in his van and he went out there and checked out all the planes. Let's take a look.
We're out here in the middle of nowhere, in the desert, setting up for a little unique mission. So yesterday,
Apparently he's making money on his YouTube account, but he went out there and looked at a bunch of planes. Look at that. So these are planes that he found out there in the middle of nowhere, and they're just wasted. You see all the fuselage in the center of those planes? They're all perfectly useful. Every one of these planes has the potential of actually being something in the future. Some of them are 707s, and you could easily house 100 to 200 people inside of these things. You're going to donate a desk chair for you? I don't need a desk chair. I have one. I'm sitting in a very nice luxury executive leather desk chair I bought for $25 at the thrift store. Those are old jets. They're sitting out there. I'm playing the video for you tonight so you can look at them. Some guy lives in his van and he goes checks this stuff out. There is an Italian-made chair that I am looking to purchase, actually. It has a bendable back. Yeah, it's very amazing. Those are nice. Yeah, but again, I'm looking for the one that has a bendable back that has kind of a rubber band on the back end. Not a rubber band, but it's completely flexible. They make them in Italy. They're $350 a piece. Okay, I will look for that that parody you just brought me. Here it is. Oh, and we'll talk about the blimp plane a little bit later, I guess. But the whole idea is to get from point A to point B, LA to New York for $100. And the blimp helps it elevate in the air, which saves the vehicle a tremendous amount of energy. 85% of the energy that goes into a plane just to get it up in the air. No updates on Venezuela. The Guaido takeover is still being attempted. The coup, the supposed coup, being promoted by Western nations, especially the IMF too. They're behind Guaido. Apparently they gave him all kinds of free money, U.S. currency, to create his rebellion in Venezuela. When everyone's starving, he's out there, with cash. Hey there. Mueller is a son of a bitch. Yeah. He didn't do his job. He didn't finish the job, guest 802. Hair. Okay. Emma Thompson. Gavin Williamson attacks Huawei leak. Investigation as shabby and discredited witch. All right. It's just a story, a quickie. Nothing really to talk about there. The Huawei attack on Meng, the CFO of Huawei. Donald Trump is using my idea to not sign the treaty with Iran, and then he didn't follow my suggestion of relaxing economic sanctions on Iran. Instead, he's imposing more economic sanctions on Iran, and has resulted in the arrest of Meng and her release on $40 million bail. It has stopped all relations with China. Veritably stopped it in its tracks. So Trump is killing relations with China. They say Jack Ma, the owner of Alibaba, said that it could take 20 years for our country to rebound from the mistakes that Donald Trump is making with China. I hope that doesn't really do that. Okay, so apparently the damage on the Firefox site has leached into Tor and the Tor server. And let me bring you some more information on that. This is from the Tor blog, and it says, for some of you who use Tor, you probably know that Tor was developed by the Navy and the FBI, so it's not exactly safe. Due to a mistake on Mozilla's signing infrastructure, NoScript and all other Firefox extensions signed by Mozilla have been disabled in the Tor browser because they use NoScript. Higher security levels are currently broken for Tor browsers. Mozilla is working on a fix. We'll start building a new Tor browser version as soon as their fix is available. Well, somebody really didn't give Firefox a heads up early enough to prevent this. So it's cost Firefox a tremendous amount of support. People just really don't like what's happening. I'm not really sure who Joker is, so I'm not really worried about that. Yeah, you were right. Now let's go take a look at the parody website. Finally, I can get to that. With embarrassing photos of Joe Biden is outranking his official campaign page on Google. There he is. Hope he doesn't have another embolism. He had 3 before he became vice president. His campaign is already sunk, at least on Google. Apparently his, here's where the 2020 frontrunners stand on the issues. I don't want to talk about that. Well, that's just everything Biden, isn't it? Well, thanks. I'm sure Biden would appreciate that, but I'm not inclined to believe that Biden is really your guy, because he is clearly working for the corporatocracy, the very same people that brought us Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Let's face it, these people are all at the take. What are you talking about, Oval? Yeah. There are a lot of agendas, hidden agendas and conspiracies, Oval. Conspiracies have been happening for so long that it's noted in history that Pompeo and Cassius and Caesar all worked together. Pompeo. I'm sorry. Wrong guy. I should have, yeah. Yeah, let's move on, shall we? It was funny, I was talking about Pompeo the other day. He has apparently said emphatically that he has told Maduro, you cannot go to Cuba. And somehow we're supposed to believe this blowhard who looks like a mafia guy, that somehow our Secretary of State has made decisions about Maduro's government that actually stick. I mean, this is ridiculous. They can't get in there and do that. I'm Mr. Right, yeah. In fact, thanks to my information sources, I was aware that T. Rucker was faking his death back when he did. He's a total and utter waste of space. The guy is clearly being paid to attack our show. You know, I really don't care about his new character, frankly. Yeah, in fact, Andrew, I don't want to ever hear from him again. Thank you. I don't give a crap what he looks like. He's clearly a scumbag. Let's not even go beyond that. Anyone who claims they're going to die, or they did die, and then come out and do a show again, it's ridiculous. Yeah, if you're not face-palming at this point as a conspiracy theorist, you aren't paying enough attention. We have so many conspiracies spinning out right now, Oval Bugman, that it would be foolish for us to ignore the simplest conspiracies right in front of us, like the total collusion that Trump is engaged in. Literally surrounded by the same kind of people Hitler had around him, Zionists, Ashkenazis.
So now you can see how absurd the notion that the Jewish-owned media really hates Donald Trump when they actually love him. Take CNN, for example, all Jewish-owned and run. The major shareholder for CNN is Aviv Nevo, an Israeli billionaire venture capitalist. Head of CNN is Zionist Jeff Zucker, along with the many Zionist Jew propagandists such as Jake Tapper, Wolf Blitzer, Larry King, and many more.
Now, I'm not here to hate on Jewish people. I actually think Jewish people are great people, but Ashkenazis aren't officially Jewish. The Ashkenazis that are surrounding Trump are, you know, they're just greedy. Let's face it. These guys are really greedy. That's what they do. They're good at greed. They do greed really well.
President Trump's Strategic and Policy Forum, Ashkenazi Jew. Alan Fishman, Chairman, Ladder Capital, Donald Trump's second largest lender, Ashkenazi Jew. David Friedman, Co-Chairman, Israel Advisory Committee for Donald Trump, United States Ambassador to Israel, Ashkenazi Jew.
I wouldn't have a problem with this if these were mixed with various goyim as well, and there was a spattering of white Anglo-Saxon Protestant Catholics among these people. But no, they're all Ashkenazis that surround Donald Trump, just like Adolf Hitler had Ashkenazis surrounding him. So the same exact apparatus of the Nazis are at play right now in America today. And it took me a while to really understand the depth of this because there were certain distractions. Like when I looked up the word Nazi, it occurred to me that, you know, this word must be something, some source, some origin of the word Nazi. Well, apparently they've covered up the origin of the word Nazi. They claim it's nothing to do with Ashkenazi. They claim that. They claim it's an acronym for Nationalsozialisten, some sort of a party in Germany. But if it was an acronym for National Socialist, it would be Natsu, not Nazi. Because in German, National is Nationalist. So Natsu is not, no, it doesn't fit that at all. Natsu is not Nazi. So in another second definition, if you go on the wiki, it'll tell you that Nazi implies that a person's named Ignacio. And it was a joke that people called people Ignacio because it was the name of a stupid farm boy. Come on, give me a break. That's such BS. I've never heard such BS before. They're rewriting history. Ashkenazi led to the word Nazi. That's why Hitler and Goering and Himmler hated the word Nazi, because it represented who they were. They were Ashkenazis. The Rothschilds, who funded Adolf Hitler, were Ashkenazis and are Ashkenazis, and they aren't officially Jewish. They're court Jews. They were hired by Jewish royalty in the 1500s to handle their money. And then they used usurious rates to make money and finagle enough money so that they own more money in the world than any other group, the Rothschilds. They have 160 banks to their name, including the Federal Reserve. I've always been a superior caster. My point is, it's not about competing with some idiot who faked his own death. It's about getting the message out that we need a third party. And that guy is trying to destroy us. He's working like a doxer that he is. We have proof he doxed us. And I will extradite him now that I know he's alive. I'm definitely going to be charging him with doxing. We have proof. Same with United American and same with Lot Lizard. No, he never died. He faked his death. Do you people understand the depth of deception going on in the outskirts around me? I am the paragon of virtue in the world. I'm the future of America. Honest, clear-headed, focused, and willing to be open-minded. And all these people are so angry and jealous that I'm actually doing it that they want to stop me in the worst way, and they'll throw tons of money at everybody who will stop me or try to. Vice Media is getting money. We know that Vice Media has been taking liberties and monetizing songs that Scissor Fight developed. Actually, you know when I play that sniffling video? If I play it longer than 8 seconds, Vice Media claims it's theirs. And we know for a fact that Scissor Fight lost his account with that sniffling video. This is the one. Donald Trump sniffling 136 times in one of the debates and about 25 times in the other debate. He was sniffling for 3 or 4 weeks. We don't know what from, but Scissor Fight grabbed all of the sniffling from one debate and put it all together. And he had 136 cuts. It took a long time of editing, and Scissor Fight lost his account, and now Vice claims it's theirs. I can't play more than a few seconds or they'll try to monetize it. Yeah, Vice claims it's theirs. So for them to get $250 million from George Soros doesn't surprise me. I'm sure Soros is funding the Young Turks as well, and the social justice Democrats. You remember Occupy Wall Street? That was George Soros. Remember the Baltimore supposed riots? That was George Soros, paid rioters. Same with Ferguson. Yeah. Vice Media is getting $250 million in funding from George Soros. This is crazy. He's trying to buy an insurrection in America. All I'm saying is the word Nazi implies Ashkenazi. And if we don't clue ourselves into the reality that these Ashkenazis are back at it again, we beat the Germans and the Japanese in World War II. My father fought World War II, 3 tours of duty. He came back a hero. He didn't want to live to see this type of disaster where our trade center gets taken down by some Mossad force, and they blame it on Saudi Arabia. And then all of a sudden we're in war with Iraq and Afghanistan, who didn't even have anything to do with it. Yeah. So the 9/11 attack, killing 2,996 people, could very well be Mossad in origin. We don't know. We do know that people were videotaping that day in New York, and they were Mossad agents, and they went back and bragged about it. And they were jumping for joy when they were getting video of the trade tower coming down. I mean, it's really bizarre. Yeah. So, more than enough evidence that Mossad had something to do with 9/11. No question about it. That was my first predilection when I first saw it. I said, this is the work of Mossad. I told that to Sarah the day it was happening. But when you look at the attacks and what really went down, you have to wonder, how did they pull it off? Well, they're experts at this.
It was widely reported that men had been celebrating the attack after recording the first plane strike. They were not Al-Qaeda, but they were detained.
I grabbed my binoculars and I could see the towers from my window. And this is where I'm looking. And all of a sudden, down there, I see this van park. And I see 3 guys on top of the van. And I could see that they were like happy. They didn't look shocked to me. They didn't look shocked.
There was a group of Israelis, some of whom later were revealed as Mossad assets, who were arrested after cheering and high-fiving and videotaping the crash of the airplanes into the World Trade Towers.
So, when I speak of Zionists, I'm actually, talking about people not necessarily citizens of Israel. And Zionism is no longer even focused on creating a state of Israel. Zionism was what it was in the 1917. They put forth the Balfour Declaration.
So Brian Wilson's on stage now. That's good.
So we got Brian Wilson on stage at the big event. Yeah. Let's take a look at Brian Wilson, who's suffering from some mental illness but still able to perform. Good, yeah, good vibrations coming from Brian Wilson. I'm in front, yes. So as you know, as you learn more about the stretch and extent of how their New World Order plan has evolved, these people got what they wanted with the Balfour Declaration. They got Israel. Israel's a state that is our ally, a nation that we certainly have a good, strong relationship with. I don't want to break that. I'm concerned about Zionism leading to a new world order. Having too much reach, it's now pushing the envelope and trying to do what Hitler, Caesar, Napoleon, and many others have tried, global world domination. And we, as Americans, have the option of stopping that. We're very fortunate that we have this great nation, that we can stop these people in their track. But we have to get behind a third party to do it because they own the 2 parties. Okay, here we go. I talk about this all the time. Thank you, Bingo. Sarah's here to talk about just fun stuff. So she's your relaxation time. All right. Vice is apparently getting money from George Soros, which is interesting. Hey, Zetterbeard.
Oh, wow, is that her?
Apparently,
it's been a while.
Yeah.
Hope you've been well.
I put it in New World Order. Okay.
Somebody gave us that link earlier.
The Power of Music.
And that one.
Yeah, I covered this one. This a mysterious odor forces Spirit Airlines to flight to return to LAX. Yeah, arsenic breathing life discovered in the tropical Pacific Ocean. I find that very hard to believe that arsenic is something that some life form lives on. Yeah.
Yeah, some life form do live in really things that would be toxic to people.
Yeah, I can only imagine why.
Pretty amazing.
You know, anaerobic bacteria. This is a really good image. I'm going to copy this. It's all the proven known oil reserves throughout the world.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. And you can see why Venezuela is so in demand. Look at that. It has the most oil of any country in the world.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the reason why Venezuela is in the front row center of Goldman Sachs' eyes, and Russia is looking at making money there. They want to make money, and they want to control the course of Venezuela's history so they can control the oil. That's why they're trying to dismantle Maduro's government. He's got a tough challenge. Okay, let me do it. And I think I'll do it in ideas because that's something I can always look at. Okay, thank you. I'm almost done. Yes, I'm done. Okay. I needed to clear the chat so that I could actually keep the RAM under control. We have 16 gigabytes of RAM in our computer, and we really can't push more than 50 links. Okay. Cyanide is an element that's anti-life, yeah. On a different note, they found cyanide is in marijuana that is using a fungicide. Let me show you a link here. Alert anybody who has seen this, but this marijuana has apparently been sprayed with a thing called mycloblutenol, or Eagle 20. And if you are really worried about this, ask your supply store if they use Eagle 20 on their crop, because this, when it burns, it creates cyanide. It's normally used on grapes. It's an edible fungicide, but it creates cyanide when it's burned. Thank you. Check that out.
Well, were they good dreams or bad dreams, Bengalitis?
You read the whole story here. Dangerous stuff, and we should get standardization in the growth of marijuana. I posted a link today about that. All right, I'll be back. Thanks.
Thanks, Misanthropy. You're right. I remember when you were saying that people will put pesticides on marijuana. I do remember you saying that. I never watched 13 Reasons Why. No, because I did read that whole thing about it being linked to suicide. A spike in suicide rates. So I thought that was probably depressing, and I wanted to avoid it. Live musical set. Oh, that's a music thing. Well, David has lights that he could take into the kitchen. I didn't say that, Tiggin. I don't think I am. I'm usually pretty happy. I think I just, no. Yeah, that's it. I do. If I do start feeling down, I go out in the garden and I feel so much better, or go for a walk on the beach, or make a list of things I'm grateful for. That helps if I do feel sad or depressed or start feeling down. Gratitude, an attitude of gratitude is a cure for all ills. Well, I did turn on the light the other day, Bingo. No, I'm not going to get wasted. Because that actually, hello, yes, I'm the Worm Whisperer. That, getting wasted just makes you actually more depressed. Because you're normal is here and it takes you up, but then it takes you below your normal when you come back down. That's why you should avoid mind-altering substances. Depressing stuff is bad for people that lack self-confidence. And Tikin is convinced it can induce psychosis. Wait, that's why you feel like you're dying when you smoke? Because of the pesticides that they're spraying on it? Probably. Yeah, nothing is better than, I agree, neutralizing than sitting in nature. Yeah, sitting in a garden on a sunny day. Like today I wasn't feeling very good, but we bought these Brussels sprout starters and like, let's go out and plant them in the garden. And then it was like, and then let's transplant this lavender bush. Sometimes I crave escapism. I don't know. I do sometimes want to sleep in my bed. Conspiracy theorists, what society thinks we do, what Hollywood thinks we do, what psychologists thinks we do, what the ADL think we do, what we think we do, what we actually do. That's great. I'm gonna leave that. That's hilarious. Anti-Defamation League. Chicken. Cross-domain access denied? I don't know. Yes, true. Good point, Melkor. Yeah, it's so good. I actually take, I've been recently, for the past few weeks, well, I read this great book by Daniel Pink called When. And so for the past few weeks, I have taken kids out to the gardens at our school. And I call it for a brain break. And it's just like 5 minutes. So we'll come in, do some work, and they do independent work usually in the morning. Morning work, we do work for an hour that morning, in the morning. And then I go take them for a brain break, and then we come back, and then we work for another hour before lunch. And it's just, it's a way to like, it not only resets them, it resets me, and so that's very good. No, chicken, I've never felt that way. Who, me? I don't think I care about my green screen, or somebody else. Oh, maybe me with this chair. Yeah, true. Nowadays, we're so much technology, you can't sleep if you're listening to something on YouTube. I've decided, yeah, on... Yes, you're right. It's like, it's hard because David... That's right. David will grab the video feed and then he'll move it all around the screen. So then when I have to come in, I'm like yeah, you're right. Is that better, Misanthropy? You're hilarious, Dr. Meow. Oh, thanks. Yeah, hardback books are good, Anita. But, okay, Melkor, I was going to say with Melkor, The so I've done this since the end of February, so March and April, and now we're into May. I have not watched Netflix on at least Monday through Thursday night. I try not to turn on the TV. I still listen to audiobooks, but just to give my brain a break, I try not to do Netflix or Amazon. That helps. That does help me sleep a bit. But then sometimes I've had times where I wake up in the middle of the night. I've been doing these like first and second sleeps, and I wake up in the middle of the night, and then I'll like go on the computer for an hour. But usually if I go on the computer for an hour, I do work. Like I've been doing some writing. Yep, it's so true. So many people come home and watch Netflix for the rest of the day. It's a big thing. The plague of the century is the out of context thing, huh? Oh. Yeah, true, Dr. Meow. I saw a really great... So Dr. Meow was talking about these people in Taiwan were watching what they thought was a car chase for 4 hours, and it ended up being the police officer was trying to track down his wife in a car in order to bring her lunch. Okay. And then he said that the plague of the century is the out of context thing. I went to a conference, Washington Science Teachers Association conference, back in November, and heard a neuroscientist who was talking about out of context and how the media often portrays things out of context, or rather not necessarily the media, but people portray things out of context. And they showed this this picture of Obama and another guy in meeting all these world leaders, going out and seeing all these world leaders, and Obama's going like this, like out with his hand, and then the people are like, whoa, look at this, everybody's snubbing Obama, they won't shake his hand, he's putting his hand out to shake it, nobody's shaking his hand. And they were all shaking the hand of the other guy, and they're like, whoa, they'll shake the other guy's hand, and then they're like, let's change the context. Obama is introducing the guy to these people, and he's saying, and here's Dr. So-and-so, and here's Mr. So-and-so, and he's doing it like with his hand down there, where, anyway, it's all about context. Okay, I have to, when I get into a little story like that with context, or a little story, I have to not see the chat, because then I say things out of context because I'm responding to written words, and then it makes me say things out of context. It's really weird. Well, I'll be talking and then I'll respond to something I read, and I just feel like if people are watching this show on video later on, they're like, whoa, the context of this is weird, because it's the nature of chat rooms. Anyway. Sarah, could you take a call from you, Bingo? Well, I don't have a phone in the room, but I suppose I could. You know, you talked to me about this a year ago. People driving the car can't read the chat, and so yeah, it is, everything is out of context. And I just cleared the chat so I couldn't see what people had been typing. So we're going to start the conversation again. But hello to all of you people listening on the radio or listening to us at all the ships at sea. I can say that. I really appreciate all the ships at sea. Hopefully, maybe you can tell the people that you work for or that ship with you about my idea of that they can stop using plastic packaging. Simple solution. I figured it out tonight because I was wondering, like, I know why that they use the plastic packaging, because they want people to see their product. Instead, what would be so much more environmentally friendly, and it has the potential to revolutionize our planet, take a picture, put it on a package, a cardboard package that can be recycled. So the picture is on paper that's recyclable, and then the packaging is recyclable, and that simple thing, I really feel, could change our planet. Okay, I'm gonna what did I have for dinner, Sarah? I had David made macaroni noodles with onions and garlic and broccoli and some other vegetables, but mostly macaroni. And then I have this jar of pesto sauce, and I mix that in. Bingo, I'm glad your life involves watching me and interacting with us. We're going to try that again. Test. All right, chicken. Oh, he did put chicken in that. And I don't know if it was like a can of chicken. Oh, and he added sausages of some kind. I think they might have been Polish sausage. Bingo, you go away asking yourself why I don't respond to you. (802), I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. No. Why what? Why people are so rude? Maybe. Dr. Meow says another solution is not to take pictures, which is pointless since the rest of the planet is going to hard copy print their phones. Pick. Well, the pictures are because, like, if an item's sitting on a shelf, they want some kind of advertising to sell their product. And usually that's why they package it in, like, this clear plastic wrap, hard plastic that doesn't disintegrate. And so that's why that I said the idea of the pictures. It's all about advertising. It's not about... I don't know why you said it's pointless. I think it's good. Misanthropy says that with mac and cheese, chicken tenders, and buffalo sauce is good. I've never tried that. Oh, you leave and you ask yourself why you're watching, because you're always waiting for something new and exciting, and I don't watch the news, so I don't relay the news to you, so that's not new and exciting. And when people talk, well, maybe when I talk, I tend to repeat myself. I apologize for that. Is there anything you'd like to share or talk about, Bingo, that would teach us something new? Hello, Jay's Fix It. What did you fix today, Jay? Or did you leave? Okay, good. I'm glad you're still here. Have you fixed anything recently? Oh, okay. I want to make I think I want to make a shelf or design a shelf and have somebody else make it. That would be even better. Oh, Misanthropy finished everything he was planning on doing in this whole weekend last night in an hour and a half before David even finished the show. Okay. Oh, Jay's Fix It works on computers. Nice. That's very cool. I always think I would like to fix computers, but my hats are off to people that do because I don't. It's like a romantic ideal, but I don't have I just never have tried it. Misanthropy thinks I should build my next computer or David's next computer. That's an interesting concept. I did watch a great video about like everything. If I watched that video, I could get my A+ certification. This is a such and such port and blah 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 blah. It was very good and very informative. Alright, Dr. Meow says, there used to be a fine of 200 euros if people used the wrong trash can color for recycling until someone YouTubed a process in the recycling plant where everybody mixes everything in one container to go faster. They end up burning anything that doesn't look like the real instant packaging so they can resell it. Well, in our country, we used to send all of our goods to Asia, all of our quote-unquote recycling to Asia, and Asia stopped accepting, well, China stopped accepting American recycling because it was so contaminated with things like, it was supposed to be a load of paper, and it was completely full with, like, people would put their dirty baby diapers in there. Just disgusting. Yeah, I heard Malaysia stopped accepting our recycling too. Yeah, I don't blame them. If people are going to be so gross and have paper with, human fluids on it or whatever, human fluids, contaminated recycling. Just ridiculous. David does buy an assistant like an actual person to help David. Maybe it's just me that it always happens, Misanthropy. Sorry. I apologize for the chat leading to the discussion of human fluids.
That's not your problem.
Well, I was talking about contaminated recycling.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that's why I'm there.
The coffee things I'm using for the Keurig.
Oh yeah, David, my sister told David, you shop at Costco, they have these, I'm going to try to call my sister. She said, you shop at Costco, they have these zero waste Keurig filters because the Keurig things are always like, that's plastic.
All right, so we found it available. It's a pack for a 100 pack of Keurig things that go in.
I bet they taste good with the French roast.
Yeah, they really do, and they're sustainably raised. It doesn't say organic, but I'm actually quite content with their. This is the San Francisco Bay Gourmet Coffee Company, but even the plastic bag here is recyclable. It's compostable. This is compostable. This bag. which is amazing. This is plastic, but it's compostable.
Yeah.
So it's possible to see packaging that is compostable, but see these little things? Completely, the ring is made of wood pulp, and the top is made out of corn husk. And this entire thing, including this top, is completely compostable in a compost heap. Is that interesting? It looks like plastic, but it's actually made out of corn. Anyway, I seal it right up and keep it nice and fresh. And there are multiple bags like this in there. It tells you best before 2020, April 2nd. So it's best before 2020, April 2nd. But yeah, I decided to go for it. They're 30 cents a piece to make coffee, which is still better than anything you get at Starbucks.
Yes, David puts it in our garden compost.
Yeah, I'll put that in my compost.
We'll see what happens. Because sometimes when they feel like plastic like that, they have to be like in a commercial composter.
Well, I'm not going to worry about it.
But whatever, we can try it.
At least it's not a cup, you know. It's definitely.
Yeah, that's true. It's saving a little bit on the plastic.
Yeah. And I get more coffee out of it. It actually works better than the other ones.
Yeah, if you did a test and you're like, how long will it take this to compost down? And then you did a video on it, you people were like, you'd get views on that video.
Well, you know, I can't get a lot of hits on YouTube. I've been censored for 8 years, and people just don't understand that. You still don't get the fact that I've been censored.
That.
No, not you, but people don't get the fact that I've been censored for 8 years. You get a lot of views because you don't have an opinion, but anyone with an opinion is being censored on YouTube right now.
What? I did not see Ebola cases in Maine. What? Can you send me the link, Dr. Meow? It would be something new. Probably not misanthropy. No.
Obama brought 14 Ebola patients into our country. Talk about an airhead move. I've never heard of such an airhead move in my life. When he brought all those Ebola patients into our country.
Yep.
And Ebola can live in a system and become contagious later.
So I do composting, but I have rules to not add the compost a certain number of days. You have to wait a certain number of days to add it to harvest it, to add it to the worm bin. Maybe, Bingo, maybe.
Well, you know, I could put those lids in the compost in with the coffee, you know, because coffee the coffee can go in with the cat litter, the wood fiber that we use. I can probably do something like that.
Well, either way.
I can put it in a separate container that will compost slower, or I can put sludge in it to compost it. All right, so I guess I'm going to go with my shirt now because it's getting a little bit warm this time of year, and I think the jacket is,
Oh, good. Yeah. Whereas I'm like wearing a big jacket.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, I appreciate that extra time you gave me. Here's the roll here, in case you need anything for sniffles. Clay does not compost. Yeah, I know. But wood fiber does. And I have wood fiber from the cat litter that we switched to. Wood fiber is, we use those same pellets you would use for a wood burning stove. for our cat litter. It works great. It gets rid of the cat's urine smell. And it's actually way better than anything I used before. Remember I used to do a recycled litter, cat litter video on YouTube? It was pretty funny. Hey Leon, you came into a show where we don't really like people who hate the environment and our concerns for the environment. So we're not really sure where you're coming from. I mean, do you want to live in a cesspool of toxic waste, breathing diesel fumes the rest of your life? I do. I have. We purchased a composting toilet just to have on hand for emergencies. They're expensive, $1,200. I have one in case I need it. I'd rather not use it until I have to. Well, you know, I really believe that I'm not harsh on veganism. I don't believe that you have to eat vegetarianism. I'm actually more worried about genetically modified food than I am about grazing meat, you know, raising them. I'd like to see the USDA be able to clean up their act and sell to Europe. I would love to be able to take a printout of all of the input a cow has had from birth all the way to the final grave, and tell that person, yeah, they've never had any antibiotics, they've never had any genetically modified food, they've lived on organic grain and alfalfa, and tell them that that meat is the cleanest, most rich, nutritious meat you'll ever eat. Yeah, I'd love to be able to tell that to the Europeans and get them to decide at that point what they're going to do. But we aren't even appealing to a market that could really help our livestock growers. As opposed to abandoning the raising of meat, I think we should embrace it as one of the many different things our society is looking forward to doing, not just seeing it as a terrible thing because it uses too many resources. We just need more water. And I've constructed a plan to get more water. The ocean pipeline. Da 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 da. Right. I was thinking of actually running it parallel to the container wall. I thought that would be an interesting concept. But this will desalinate water in a big way. What happens is water goes in the middle of it, seawater, and it evaporates inside on the dome and the inside, and all the fresh water, clean, pure water, trickles down into the side reservoirs, and thereby creating fresh water without using any fossil fuel. Isn't it amazing? And the 1,000-mile, $1 billion container fence I was plugging. You know, I don't believe that's true. I don't believe anyone sat there for 11 minutes and 57 seconds listening to a cow fart. I just think you're making up a lot of things like your 16 PhDs. Good question, Bob. Yeah, Bob's got a question. We have an answer for you, Bob. Let me go over there right now. Okay. All right. We have the ability to do a thing called digging a hole, Bob. Nothing is fake. Everything is real. It is real. Can you not see? Yeah, they're working on an Ebola vaccine. That's why Obama brought him in. CDC has been creating an Ebola rabies vaccine, also known as the zombie apocalypse vaccine. Yeah, well, the one that's going to cause us to get Ebola rabies. Anyone with a shovel can dig a hole. It takes money to fill it in, Bob. Everyone knows that. Anyway, anybody with a shovel can dig a hole here, Bob. So see, I'm going to be digging a hole down the middle here. And in this hole, we're going to put a circular pipe, kind of like the ones they use in septic systems right now. It can go all the way down, and that pipe will have little holes in it. Little parts where it actually takes the salt and sucks it right in. And that little pipe down there at the bottom of the water will be sucking salt. And we'll be evacuating that into a separate sector, which will be a salt-sucking sector, which will be designed to essentially create molten salt. You see, molten salt is the ingredient they need to use as solar collectors heat up like molten salt. They create so much heat that they stay hot all night long. So if you direct the sun's energy with a parabolic mirror at a set of salt, molten salt, it gets bubbly so hot it stays hot throughout the night, and it can create steam generation. And that's where electricity comes from, day in, day out. So all of these ideas spawn new ideas. Ergo, David Sponheim. The hydrogen from the seawater will also be collected and ultimately will use electricity created by wind power and solar to move the water. We'll also have residual energy to create hydrolysis and ultimately create hydrogen from water and splitting the hydrogen and oxygen atoms. So we'll be able to create liquid hydrogen. We'll be able to grow fishies in the seawater. And you like fishies, right, Bob? It's not expensive. This water is free. That's what makes it such a brilliant idea. And I can implement this plan within 6 months. We could put 200 miles of pipeline up by stack and packing them on 18-wheelers. And we can get these things out and the vinyl that goes with them and get them assembled and get this thing rolling. Now, an area from Los Angeles to Vegas can actually power up 50,000 gallons of water a day. Each one of these units is only about 7 feet by 11, 7'11". And they stack very nicely on top of each other, and they go right out. We build we do the digging with a standard digging tool, a trenching tool. It's very simple. And we lay the black plastic, which is super heavy duty HDPE plastic, and we lay the liners. Everything's ready to go. And voila, you got fossil free, no electricity other than wind power and solar generated. Moving water, breaking water, hydrogen and oxygen apart, creating a huge backlog of liquid hydrogen, which we could use in our cars, theoretically. I mean, Toyota and Honda are already developing hydrogen engines for cars. We're on the way to the future, folks. You just have to get on board with a third party. That's the thing. The two parties don't have the intelligence to make up ideas like this. That's why I built America's third party, so that we can move forward with great new ideas. Okay? I hope you realize this is a big, momentous moment for America and for the future of mankind. Every night is. Thanks, Oval. And of course, it's the equivalent of a $45 casino ticket watching somebody make you laugh. Yes, the entire voting system is rigged, but you can overpower it with votes. You can. As much as it's rigged. The thing is, Misanthropy, we can't even get one ballot to put my name on it. So we're not only fighting an almost unbelievable stacked battle against the establishment, but we're entering into an area now of massive censorship where they're trying to shut down the internet after it started. Cat's out of the bag. The rich people don't want the internet to be as free as we have it right now. They want to control it, and they're creating methods to do that, like social credit systems in China. And even people like this nutcase running with a $1,000 plan per month for everybody in America, which is unsustainable, frankly. But it would draw a huge amount of money from our budget for the military if I were to implement it, but I'm prepared to do it. If that nutcase gets away with his idea of social credit, then we move into the direction of China. The Democrats are going in the direction of China. And Trump has become such an obstacle because he doesn't care about your right to bear arms. He's actually okay with you people who suffer from PTSD getting your guns taken away. He said in front of a large group of people, first we take their guns, then we do the due process. And that's what makes Trump so useless as a nation of people who support their rights to bear arms. He just doesn't want to recognize the innate need for an ex-veteran who's suffering from PTSD to keep his firearm. He doesn't get that. Now, I can't believe you continue to support Trump when he wants to take away your right to bear arms. That just blows me away. Nope, he wants people with PTSD to have guns taken away. He's even said so. Oh, you just have to rethink what you're doing. You have to understand Trump is very soft on guns. He initiated a bump stock ban. What joke, ridiculous purpose is that? Bump stock, you can do that with a rubber band or your thumb. banning bump stock is ridiculous. It's a slippery slope. No, PTSD is not something that necessarily turns you into a violent criminal. But if you want to go down that slippery slope with Trump, go right ahead, you gun rights supporters. Yeah. Not to mention he doesn't really care about, the fact that you are breathing chemtrails. And apparently you don't even believe it. So I don't know what the hell's wrong with you people. Apparently he's got a nose or nasal congestion problem too, the way he was sniffling in those debates. I don't understand it. I really don't. I don't know why he's got the sniffles. Hey, anyway, and you probably don't even care about the 5G network. I know a lot of Trump supporters are going, I can't believe he supports the 5G network. I don't. I support a modified 5G Plus, which will be EMP safe. The sustainable 5G network I envision will have Faraday cages over the junction boxes so you won't have massive radiation blasting at you and causing brain cancer. Yeah, exactly. PTSD doesn't mean you're violent. Seriously, that's ridiculous. Now, another thing, Donald Trump doesn't want to legalize marijuana, and it's proven to be helpful for people with PTSD. Seriously. Rich people do want to limit speech and knowledge on the internet. They want us dumbed down and worker slaves. That's right. Hey, a stealth tiny cabin in the woods recreated in skinny San Francisco backyard. That sounds like fun. Sustainable Saturday. Tiny house Saturday. Well, let's be clear. I can't wait.
At one point, my parents were like, oh, we should help him build on or add to this. And I just saw.
Dude, Mom, Dad, I can't really live outside and smoke weed all the time if I live added to your house, in your garage. So I just want to build on to this $1.5 million estate in Burlington or in Atherton, Hey, I think it's cool. I'll definitely enjoy watching this tonight. Thank you for suggesting that. Last night we were doing some searches online and we found in Los Angeles, California, a motorhome, a Winnebago for $1,000, a 1977 Winnebago, and it was running condition. I'm telling people you can easily move out of your house and continue moving. No, Faraday cages don't prevent the signal from going out. You're really not that knowledgeable, are you, Dr. Meow? You see, point-to-point technology actually requires only one delivery point going through one little hole, captured by another reception point. Yeah. You can still get signals out with Faraday cages. You can. I'm proof of it. You can build a Faraday cage for your smart meter. And there are a lot of them available online right now where your meter gets all the information it needs. Google it. Yes, you can. Your meter's never producing any false readings because it only takes 1 point of light or electromagnetic pulse to get out of that area. What most of these smart meters are doing is putting out a massive amount of field radiation. Google it. My God, I mean, anyone who claims they have 16 PhDs and is giving me an argument about the basics of field radiation and electromagnetivity, it's amazing. It's phenomenal. Where did you go to school? Get a PhD for free.com? I mean, seriously. Anyways, you can go online and get a Faraday cage for your smart meter, and it actually helps. It really does. And they've tested the field radiation outside of these things. Nominal. Especially if you ground it. But if you want to, not worry about those things, the best thing I could recommend to you is not to park your body near a grid of smart meters. Now, the government is not warning anybody about this stuff. We have a government that could care less about humankind and our lives. They just treat us like we're dogs. But say you're living near one of these things. Now, here's a gas meter system. But the ones you got to worry most about are these lines of smart meters next to your apartment building. Now, if your bedroom is right behind one of those things, right, that's correct, Oval. If your bedroom is behind one of those things, electromagnetism, you will get brain cancer. it'll metastasize and form DNA alterations in your body. You will develop brain cancer. The director of the World Health Organization has said that cell phones, even holding next to your head, will contribute to brain cancer. Just so you know. I want all of you to be informed of that. Our government doesn't have the wherewithal or the desire to tell us that cell phones next to our brain can cause brain cancer. Now, when your kids are talking on the cell phone, you want to make sure they don't talk with their head next to the cell phone, because if they do, they will lose their REM cycle for the whole evening. Studies have shown that kids don't even have a REM cycle if they put it next to their head for a few minutes. Seriously. It fries your brain. I've met people that have died of brain cancer prior to them dying. They were told me about how they used the brick cell phones back in the day, and their buddy who used the brick cell phone talked to them on it. They both got brain cancer. I've had numerous eyewitness cases of people that had cell phones right next to their body, right next to their kidneys, talking on the phone every day because they're working in construction. They both got kidney cancer in the same place at about the same time. Don't let them fool you and say, oh, it's all genetics. No. We're getting hit with environmental stressors that you wouldn't believe, and our government could care less. So in order to make a sustainable grid, we absolutely need this puppy. Now, this integrates with the 5G Plus network I'm referring to. This is my idea, original. All these wind generators that operate at 5 miles per hour or above will actually power up a tremendous backup system in case we ever get hit by an EMP. There'll be a full throughput of energy through our system no matter what, even if we're knocked out. This is a foolproof system. Second of all, if the solenoids in our system break because of an EMP, electromagnetic pulse, or even a solar, a mass coronal emission, they call it. Use speakerphone whenever possible. Always hold your phone away at arm's length. Thank you. It's not about a new idea. I put the two ideas together. This is my idea. The Savonius windmill is copyright free. It's a Creative Commons license. It was donated by a man named Savonius. The electrical lines are already in place. We just need the harness to get these things up and running and get a backbone of electricity flowing all the time, even after an EMP attack. Now, the 5G Plus network will also have limiters on all the junction points so that there won't be any chance anyone could send a large amount of electricity through these limiters. That's something we don't have in place right now. We have massive conduit going up this thick for no reason. Copper that could easily turn our entire nation into a microwave grid, which could fry every living creature on the face of this earth. That's a serious problem considering we've got AI taking over large operations all over the world, especially utilities. So we're not thinking ahead of AI. In fact, I almost believe that AI may be the source of the 5G network. Imagine an artificial intelligence system that sees one purpose and one purpose only: to maximize and make this world efficient. It would automatically see humans as unnecessary and easily extinguished and disposable, and may only be used for biofuel in the event their bodies can be put to use. AI could look at humankind and say, I don't care about cholera. I don't care about all the diseases that'll happen if people die off instantly. That's what AI thinks like. And AI could easily just zap the entire human race and virtually fry us and leave us all as cadavers rotting for all they care. So without limiters, we're kind of screwed. And right now, the zealots that are out there that are pushing this idea are completely off track without any testing done and with no preparation for the future. That's my take. All right. Psychobehavior, what do you got? These are not blades that would in any way danger anything, because this carbon fiber system is totally flexible. You couldn't even hit it with 150 mile per hour winds, it wouldn't break down. It bends with the wind. The whole thing flexes. It collapses and reforms into a perfect circle with spirals running at any time. Every single aspect of this circular Savonius windmill is indestructible. When we get this done, it'll be amazing. Even the rotors will be driven by magnetic, frictionless rotor systems. No friction whatsoever. No chance for rust. It's going to be an amazing thing. We'll be using neodymium magnets, which don't break down with any corrosion. They're very minimalistic in that respect. We also cover them, layer them with silicon so that they have protective surfaces. All right, so we've got more going on at the beach hangout. It's evening, yeah. The beach thing is happening. Let's take a look. I'm sorry, I can't play any more than 8 seconds or they'll monetize me. But wasn't that nice? Just 8 seconds of a little bit of Beach Boys? That was special. Well, the idea is to keep your attention, because many of you are very close to retardation due to the fact that you've been drinking fluoride in your water all your life. So you don't have the ability to actually concentrate for very long. I'm fully aware of that. I missed it. Oh, bummer. Yeah. So this is a gathering of people?
Yes, I'm gonna end it with this one. Then you gotta listen to me rap, man. Rap, yeah. The homie on the internet. Bananas every 13.
Oh, it's the release of Barack Obama Boulevard, everybody. There's a major thing going down. Everybody loves Barack Obama in LA except all the homeless people that don't have a life because Obama never solved anybody's problems. And Eric Garcetti is as bad as his dad, Gil. He's almost laughable.
Tuesday on the I walk every last Sunday. DJ Elray, the Prince of Police. Okay. Never really real with the truth. Come on. Shotgun, no line to the proof. Trying to give up that blow and that juice. So I can just rap for the move. Hey, yeah, how can I ride my ship if I'm always under influence? I'm gonna write that whip, yeah, I'm gonna do it, yeah.
Man, I could definitely, I'd jive on the rap though going down, man. Yeah. Abraham Lincoln would be proud. Yeah, that's great. Good rap, good people, nice thoughts. Unfortunately, they support a man who is a homosexual who lied about his homosexuality and married a transgender. Barack Obama Boulevard ought to be greased down with KY jelly. Seriously, I'm positive. You want to see Michael Obama's penis? Sure, I don't mind. Yeah, I'm kind of, I've gotten kind of immune to the whole idea. Having shown it, 455 times on our show. I'm going to say 900 times because it's been going on a long time. Ladies and gentlemen, Michelle Obama's penis. As you can see by this is not photoshopped. Let me close in on the size, rather the swing action of this. Yeah, there you go. Take a look at that. Okay, Dave. I think you can see it there better. What do you think about that? What do you think about them apples? Yeah, you were lied to. You can't take it anymore? What, you're not allowed to look at somebody in their jump jeans with their penis and testicles moving around? I'm just trying to tell you folks that you've been lied to big time. Well, let's be clear. Michelle, she and I are involved in a homosexual relationship. He couldn't say that because he would have lost the election. But instead, he committed fraud, and so did she. So I hope we understand each other right now. I'm going to vote for somebody who's lying to me, and I don't think Barack Obama Boulevard should be decorated with anything but a lie. Lie, 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 lie. Kind of like that song about lying. Lie, la, lie, la, lie. I believe it was, that was a Boxer song. Right. Simon and Garfunkel. La 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 la. You know that one. Yeah. Well, I don't think we need to belabor the point about the penis and the testicle, because frankly, I'm not in any way interested in talking about some dude that pretended to be our first lady all these years, but I have a resounding no. I say no to transgenderism forced upon us. You know, one out of every 10,000 people has a double thing going down there. Yeah. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Yeah, there are people who are hermaphrodites. I'm not here to make fun of people. I don't care if Michael is a transgender. I really don't. It matters to me that they lied to us all those years. I accept the idea that somebody wants to do that to themselves and psychiatrists feel it's okay to cut your penis off. I'll stand back and not worry about it. It's not my problem.
Is set to become the best.
Michelle Obama's book tour stops in Toronto, and apparently it's going to be a pretty big humdinger. This is a major achievement for Michelle, often known as Michael LaVaughn Robinson.
Selling autobiography of all time. Michelle.
Yes, the autobiography is amazing, and maybe we'll learn how to read someday so we can actually pronounce the word autobiography.
Obama's Becoming just came out in November, and it's already sold 10 million copies.
It's called Becoming, as in becoming a tranny. Thank you. All right, good for them. It's a humdinger, all right. Well, actually, being a transsexual is not a mental illness, but wanting to self-injuriousness is a sign of mental illness. Now, as you know, I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but if you are self-injurious to the point where you want to cut your penis off, there's not one psychiatrist in the world. You can look on YouTube right now and try to get one psychiatrist to say that that is normal behavior. Body dysmorphia. I have frozen. We are being under attack. Is video on? Hold, please. We are under attack.
Politics, Hillary Clinton ran a soulless campaign and she destroyed my...
New book says Obama took Trump win as a personal insult to his legacy. Okay, well, that's kind of cool. How about the legacy of lying to everybody? Okay, we're up and running. Thank you. Yeah, Barack Obama's legacy should be a liar, not a boulevard in LA. Well, let's be clear. Yeah, it's just not quite there yet. All right, let's do this.
My legacy. Those are stinging criticisms tonight from former President Barack Obama in an upcoming book.
Yeah, Mr. Obama is letting loose about Hillary Clinton's loss to Donald Trump in 2016, and he's not holding back about President Trump either. Tonight, KCAL9 political reporter Dave Bryan joins us with a look at what's inside this book. Dave?
Yeah, we really haven't heard much up until now about what President Obama's reaction was to 2016. We're getting a look tonight, though, I can tell you. In the nearly 2.5 years since Donald Trump's big upset, his predecessor, President Obama, had been relatively quiet about who's to blame. But in a new edition of an Obama bio, he reportedly was described as angry and disgusted, blaming Hillary Clinton for what he felt was an electoral disaster.
We should take great pride in the progress that we've made over the last 8 years.
Always the portrait of
restraint. What progress exactly? You mean Obamacare costing us another $350 billion a year? And now everybody in the local clinic gets called up to see if they've got sleep disorder problems. Well, that's another $3,500 you can get from the government if you have a sleep disorder problem. They'll hook you up with a minimal equipment. You'll have to sit there with an air mask over your face all night, courtesy of Uncle Sam getting ripped off. Thank you, Obamacare. You can now have a sleep study, everybody.
As the sun went down behind Mount Maunganui, they came.
Oh, this is Christchurch. I better be careful because if I play this too long, they'll ban me worldwide, and I won't ever see, my video I'm playing right now won't be seen by anybody. But I will play it later tonight. Thank you, Scissor Fight. Excellent. Apparently, there's a crisis actor who can't stop smiling in the New Zealand Christchurch hoax. Somebody cued in on it and closed in on it, yeah. Well, the fact is, people are going in for sleep studies, and I talk to a lot of people that have this apparatus that they spent $4,000 for, and they don't use it. They can't sleep with it on their face. They all say, "Oh man, I can't sleep with it on my face." So it's supposed to prevent sleep apnea, which could be dangerous, I suppose, but our government's getting ripped off by these sleep machine makers. It's crazy. I mean, it's beyond belief how much sleep machine opportunities there are for the local clinics to rip us off. Frankly, I think we should freeze a lot of the spending on Medicare, Medicaid, until we can figure out exactly what they're actually doing. You know, there's no place in the country that they publish a list of the rates at the hospital. You won't get one hospital in America to give you a rate list unless you really ask for it. Then they have to type one up. Seriously. I believe that we should have a standardized plan for helping people with hospitalization at the very base minimum that would draw from Medicaid. And it would have set rates for hospital procedures, including x-rays. And Medicaid would always get the same rate. We've got another video about Nipsey possibly faking his death. Proof Part 10, Mirror explains Nipsey really is dead. Share this. Is Nipsey really dead? Okay. We're looking at another investigation into the Nipsey.
All right, so I was watching this video here on YouTube, and there's some things that just aren't adding up.
Cool. We'll look at that too. Very good. I'd like these things to not add up right now. But as you know, if we do pursue these cases, as like an online investigation, they'll call it a hate crime if we deny the story, the official story of something. Seriously. Oh yeah, because there's a lot of people in LA that you can't tell them it's fake. They lost Nipsey Hussle. They're very depressed. It would be like really, really harsh on them and hurtful. But we will play it later. Barack Obama Boulevard. Listen to the blues of Barack Obama Boulevard. We're getting down, getting dirty with Barack Obama Boulevard coming down. Hey, and by the way, Barack Obama never ever talked about chemtrails. And neither did Donald Trump. I want everyone to know that. So when I talk about climate rape, I'm talking about chemtrails. Thank you. Remember that, because the Democrats, Republicans won't even admit we're being sprayed. That's how out of it they are. Okay, here it goes. I can't play the stock music or they'll monetize me. No, he didn't really talk about them. He talked about them with Alex Jones. That's all he did. And all he did was nod his head. Alex Jones was talking to him. I heard the interview. We're going to have to do something about these chemtrails and, you know, the spraying in the skies. And Donald went, yes. Yeah, who paid for it but Barack Obama Boulevard? That's what I want to know. And why are we looking at Tucker Carlson? I don't want to listen to Tucker Carlson. He's too conservative for me. And he hates women. I can't believe the way he talks about women. Last week he said they were real, though. Well, great. When is he going to do something to stop them, Akira? Hello? If he said they were real, I didn't hear it. If Donald Trump pulls one on everybody and says, oh, they're really there for reducing global warming, wouldn't that be a flip-flop situation? Where he pretends like he doesn't believe global warming is happening, and then he says, oh, they're doing it for stratospheric, it's a big word, aerosol injection. Yeah, he'll make something up, I'm sure. I know you didn't agree to pay for Barack Obama Boulevard with your tax money. I hear you, man. That's what I'd like to know. Who's paying for the Boulevard of Barack Obama? You know, he couldn't get his library built in Chicago, you know. So maybe this is Eric Garcetti's way of kissing his ass. Is Eric Garcetti gay? Does anybody know? He certainly seems gay to me. Not like I'm gay, because I'm not. Yeah, but he does seem a little gay. Bingo. Over hitting the link library here, I see. Okay. Obama cried after Trump's win. Insiders details of secret breakdown. Okay. I'll play that tonight. Thank you. Probably the QAnon group. I wouldn't doubt it. And another link? Jeez. Why don't you just send me 15 links? Jeez. One after the other? That's insane, man. Yeah, we all got Barack Obama Boulevard going down tonight, man. Yeah, I wonder if Soros paid for it. You know, maybe he got a discount. Maybe James Alefantis gave him a refund on that $9,000 pizza he ordered. He had enough money to pay for the Boulevard signs out of that. George Soros never acknowledged why he bought a $9,000 pizza from James Alefantis. You notice that? Yeah, and Hillary Clinton bought an $11,000 pizza, and Barack Obama bought $47,000 of the pizza one day. I wonder why they won't talk about what pizza is available for $47,000. Barack Obama Boulevard. I don't know, man. I think it's a sad day in history when we have to look back at Obama and say, wow, he accomplished so much when he accomplished nothing. Nothing. Amazing. Abraham Lincoln did more for our country than Barack Obama. And if I hadn't been killed, I would have finished the Reconstruction, and our country would be back on track. It's a shame they blew my head off. But, hey, at least I'm happy with my family. Mary Todd and I are in heaven. Sorry. This is a nice part of the video. Barack Obama, Boulevard of Broken Dreams. I love it. That's going to be a close-up of all the different street vendors that are trying to make $15 for the day, and the shirt for collateral would be slick. Give me $15 and the shirt for collateral, it'd be slick. That's from a movie about Los Angeles.
You know how big my bike is?
Look at my bike. I think we're having a good time. These will be very fun. It look like we're in Los Angeles, California. The city. It's Los Angeles, California, ma'am. The city. My name's David. I'm not a cop. There was a man named Friday who used to do work on this area and talked a lot about helping people in the community. Ma'am, have you ever been accosted by anyone in the law enforcement? You guys weren't around when Dragnet was on TV. Yeah. The word crackpot doesn't qualify in the show. You've been kicked. God, I can't believe the kind of dog crap that comes in the show now. It's like, you know, I can see that they're actually trying to filter only people that are barely functional in the show. It's kind of sad. Oh yeah, Bank of North Dakota posts record profits for 2018 there. Oh sure, they do that in Fargo, you know. Oh sure, they got a lot of good banking out there. You betcha. Look at that there. Bank of North Dakota leaders say that 2018 was a record year, posting 159 million in net earnings. They're very, Norwegians are very frugal. It doesn't surprise me that the Bank of North Dakota is leading the country in greed and sucking money out of people's pockets. EPA ruled reviled Roundup weed killer not linked to cancer. Oh, come on. You got to be kidding me. Talk about controlled puppets in our government. The EPA now rules reviled Roundup weed killer is not linked to cancer when there's known studies linking it to cancer. Wow. Boy, see why we need a third party? Stop the EPA from behaving like a bunch of suck-ups to corporate America and industrial polluters. Unbelievable.
Judiciary Committee hearing Thursday. One Democratic congressman left a prop chicken in the empty witness chair. A North Carolina college student killed while confronting a gunman has been given a hero's send-off. Authorities say Riley Howell tackled the gunman in his University of North Carolina Charlotte classroom.
This is just a news story. I don't... Stop! I can't handle the news. It's just so ridiculous. Jeez. Overwhelming. Future shock. AI algorithms learn to collude, keep prices high, and maximize profits for online retailers. Fascinating. We got chemtrails on a sunny day. Look at this.
All right, I gotta show you this. Bear with me. I'll show you. I'm here at Micro Center, okay? This is, you know, I'm making this video because I'm always about in-your-face realizations. And it's not like they try to do this. This is just a regular screen on your monitor that you can see. And I found it very interesting as I'm walking. Just bear with me. We'll get there in a minute. And then I just come back here with the case. It's right back here. I just couldn't resist making a video because this is in your face. We're almost there. I want you to look at these monitors and what's on their screens. Check this out. You can see a whole wall of monitors, okay? Look at this picture. It's an entire screen of nothing but chemtrails. I didn't want to use...
Wow. In our face.
Puffy clouds in this screenshot. Screen capture, it's all chemtrails.
Unbelievable.
Is that the most in-your-face thing?
Totally.
That
Wow.
you can say
Unbelievable.
I saw that and I said to myself, damn, Joe, you got to make a video because it's just super silly.
It is. Every screen has
It's super
chemtrails on it.
silly. Doesn't mean anything. No one's here purposely trying to show any propaganda or
Yeah,
anything.
sure. Nothing like that.
But for the ignorant people out there that don't know what they're looking at, and I do know what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful picture.
Problem is
Beautiful.
you're not a trained monkey.
But there isn't a puffy, realistic God created on this realm cloud in the image. It's all chemtrails. Talk about in your face.
Yeah.
Talk about in your face. So anyway,
Anyway,
that's the only thing I wanted to show.
thank you. That's unbelievable. Wow. They really are. While they're raping us, they're saying, you're being raped. And there's no lubrication. You're breathing this crap, people. If you want to know if there's any proof of chemtrails, there is. It's in your body. It's in your lungs. Microfibers, nanoparticles. They've done autopsies on people that die. And they have opened up their lungs for biopsy and analysis. And they have found aluminum, strontium, even nanofibers in the lung tissue of people that die. We're all breathing nanofibers. What are these things? Well, this is going to blow your mind, but not only are they engineered to reassemble in your body, which is even weirder. There's evidence of that. There's also evidence they've just taken shards of fiberglass and cooked them at high temperatures and then fractured them into dust particles. There's evidence that there's shards of fiberglass in the things that they're spraying in the sky, which is like leading the entire culture to slowly get mesothelioma or asbestosis. Ask yourself why Rudy Giuliani, the former mayor of New York, was allowed to oversee the 9/11 attack, and not one person questioned him as to why he didn't give air masks to the people, the first responders to the World Trade Center attack. Rudy Giuliani never recommended air masks. As a consequence, we had to pay $7 billion out of the Zadroga Act for people who just can't breathe because they were first responders and now they can barely breathe. So we've all kinds of respiratory support because of the Zadroga Act, the Zadroga bill. This type of a respirator, the N95 created by 3M, would not only prevent us from getting any type of asbestosis or mesothelioma in the event of a disaster, but it would also prevent the transmission of airborne viruses and bacteria. So why aren't we distributing these things to everyone in the country? So as a plan that a unique plan, the Democrats don't have this, I will produce money I will take money from the CDC, maybe even firing people that are useless, in order to develop a plan to ship air masks out to everybody in America with reorder forms inside their envelopes. So if you ever run out, you can just pop it in the mail with a check and we'll send you more. That's what I'd like to see for this country to prevent illness and prevent pandemic, not herd inoculation, which is a violation of your Fourth Amendment rights. Privacy. Your body's very private. You don't want things stuck in them. Okay, China's mass surveillance app hacked. Code reveals specific criteria for illegal oppression. Wow. So they found the code that Mark Zuckerberg helped China develop to hack people, or rather suppress them. I'm not saying Mark Zuckerberg is named in this article, but that's what he was doing. He was consulting with China to develop surveillance systems as well as controlled internet platforms. Human Rights Watch got their hands on an app used by Chinese authorities in the western Xinjiang region to survey, track, and categorize the entire local population, particularly the 13 million or so Turkic Muslims subject to heightened security, of which around 1 million are thought to live in cultural re-education camps. Wow. By reverse engineering the code in the Integrated Joint Operations Platform, HRW was able to identify the exact criteria authorities rely on to maintain social order. Of note, IJOP is central to a large ecosystem of social monitoring and control in the region, and similar to systems being deployed throughout the entire country. Collected money, materials from mosques with enthusiasm. Platforms targeted 36 types of people from data collections, from those who have collected money or materials from mosques with enthusiasm, to people who stop using smartphones. This is all kind of a tracking of social behavior, deviant behavior, which is part of the Chinese model for the ultimate communist state, which they're pushing on the people of China. How about microplastics in every living thing? Oh yeah, I know. How about that? How about microplastics in the water that we drink in our bottles? They did a study on most bottled water. Almost all of it has microplastic floating, 200 pieces in each bottle, floating in the water. It comes off from the inside of the plastic bottle. It comes off in the water. It leaches off. They didn't even bother to see if this plastic was safe when they introduced it to our society. So I would like to see a ban on plastic packaging that is not, only renewable, biodegradable plastic could be used. So a ban on plastic packaging. That would be something that would be very fruitful. Yeah, I think. Considering there's a massive tide of crap coming on the shores across the globe that veritably are comprised mostly of plastic waste. And I said packaging, bags especially, are dangerous because they create multiple layers, preventing any denitrification and oxygenation. Bags in and of themselves they're barriers, preventing any kind of biodegrading process from happening. Yeah, the FDA is now opening up the Franken salmon to be imported to the U.S. The genetically modified Franken salmon is a massive and will crossbreed with the regular salmon. This is a big...
Thanks for logging on and watching.
All right. Thank you.
Showers. That's going to continue throughout this evening. Looks like it will let up a bit overnight tonight, but
Thank you. Americans are one step closer to seeing genetically modified salmon at their grocery stores. The FDA announced Friday that it's the lifting an import alert that stopped GMO engineered salmon from entering the United States, called Frankenfish. By some, yeah. They have no authority even to issue labeling guidance at this point, the FDA. They're comprised mostly of fraud and death associates who don't care about us. The FDA hasn't had a solid case in which they protect people for years. The FDA is an arm of corporate America, and genetically modified food is part of that arm. Nope, I was never a male gigolo. No, I've never been. No, I'm not gay for one, and I've never been a male gigolo. No, you're just making all those stories up. They like you to watch The Weather Lady. Yeah, everyone wants to watch The Weather Lady. It makes you feel good to see a lady on the screen. Tech scammer versus flat Earth family.
Jazz.
Kitboga. We have Kitboga tonight.
He does this reveal of scammers, and he confronts them.
That one kind of frightened me. do you like chickens?
Yeah, I like chickens.
He gets in conversations with the people that are trying to steal his money. He loves to play with these people because they're desperate to get this guy's money, and they're trying to scam your grandma. So he's doing a good service. Kitboga.
Yes, Kitboga. He is trying to scam scammers. We like Kitboga. Yes.
Did Elvis die again? I heard he was still alive. Yeah, we have solid evidence that Elvis Presley is alive. We don't have to, make up these stories. Yeah, so if you guys want to check out our Truth Tuesday show coming up on Tuesday, we do talk about the moon landing and the fact that we don't have a photograph of the Earth from outside of our solar system, or outside of our Earth's atmosphere, I should say. We don't have a picture of the Earth from the moon. That's very suspicious. Yeah, so we really don't have any solid evidence that the Earth is what we think it is. But I don't believe in a flat Earth, that's for sure. But we don't really know, because all the pictures of the Earth are the blue marble picture, which has been, debunked many times. It was created, multiple artistic renditions of the Earth have been drawn. And we know that this is a kind of a scam that NASA has pulled over the years, claiming that this is the Earth. Well, not only is this not the Earth that we know of, whatever the Earth looks like, we really, haven't a clue from outside of our solar system. But they managed to paint clouds to read sexy on it. Yeah, sexy. Or sex, yeah, sexy, I think it says sexy. So to the NASA, it's a big joke. Yeah, they've been lying to us for years about the Earth looking like this. We don't know what the hell it looks like. Sex. Sex sells. People believe things that have sex on it. Like Ritz crackers, the subliminal advertising Ritz has. Believe it or not, Ritz crackers was caught implanting the word sex on the stamp on all their crackers. And that was called Subliminal Seduction, a book that was written in the 1970s. If you haven't read it, it's a good read. I highly recommend it. Now back to our dunce president. Flip Flopper. What did he do last week? He sent 5,000 illegal aliens to Tucson. And we just found out that John Kelly, his former chief of staff, has signed on as a primary investor in a company that warehouses illegal alien children. So now it becomes very clear